Hello, welcome to Directly to You. Welcome back to Directly to You. Dude.
That's right.
This show in a dog's
Bum,
year, as Bob likes to
ba-da-ba.
say. It's episode
Hey,
102. There's a dog. It's the
with
dog's year, 2022.
there's another one
Welcome
down here.
to Directly to You, episode 182. I'm AJ of fanatixfour. I'm joined by Parker, also of fanatixfour. We make this podcast usually every week. We talk about games and whatnot. You can support that by going to youtube.com or twitch.tv/fanatixfour on both of those things and give them $4.99. Or if you're on Twitch specifically and you have an Amazon Prime account, you can link it to your Twitch account and you get a free subscription every month. And you can subscribe for the free from Jeff Bezos. He gives you the money in your bank account. You just got to check, and I stream mostly every weekday now with our new impending changes. Potentially still going to continue to stream every weekday, but we'll find that out once we have all of our eggs in a row. Anyway, in exchange for that Twitch sub, you get loyalty badge, you get emotes, you get free Switch keys from time to time, you get access to our supporters only Discord where you can listen to us record this very show that you're listening to currently live, and you contribute in the peanut gallery, which is their Discord recording channel thing. But also you can join the Discord channel for free. You don't have to be a Twitch sub or a YouTube member or anything like that. And if you're super active on the Discord, you can also join in on the recording sessions because Discord has like, I don't know, like loyalty rewards where it's like the more you chat in the Discord, the higher you rank up, and then you can get access to like cooler perks than just being a regular Discord member. But anyways, we play video games here. Are you playing any video games? There's been a lot of time to play video games.
There's been many times. I will first say, eggs in a row. Is that a thing now?
Eggs in a row, ducks in a row. I mean, they're not ducks yet.
They're not. They're just waiting. Maybe you could just sneak a chicken egg in there. Wouldn't even know the difference. Are chicken eggs bigger than duck eggs? I feel like they might be.
I don't know. Maybe some of them. Depends on the duck or the chicken, I guess.
Games though, yes, I'm playing games. I've also purchased several games that I am not yet playing, and I'm gonna list out every single one of those, and then I'll talk about some of them. There were so many games on so much sale.
There's so many games on so much sale. Too many
That's
games.
The words. Too many games. It was like the week between Christmas and New Year's or something like that. There's just a bunch of games on sale. So I got like, I think I had two $20 eShop gift cards and then like some gold points and managed to snag like 10 games with all that. So the ones that I got that I have not played yet are Limbo, which is the same people that do Inside. I hear it's a good thing. Unrailed, haven't really played any of that yet. It's I think you can do it as like a multiplayer. It has multiplayer stuff. I don't know if it's better as multiplayer or not, but like I don't know much about it yet, so I don't have a lot of words. So there you go. Moving Out, I played the demo for that before. We played it with Mitch and Catherine recently, so played that with some friends, and it's a fun time. Human Fall Flat, just played a little bit of that. I'll come back to these other ones. Into the Breach, haven't touched it yet. Moonlighter, haven't touched it yet. Figment, haven't touched it yet. And I got Hades for Christmas, also haven't touched it yet. And then so the 4 that I'm gonna like actually talk about real quick. And I noticed you had this one in your downloaded games or something from it at some point. Woodle Tree Deluxe 2 or Woodle Tree 2 Deluxe or whatever. I'm pretty sure you have it in your games, which I was kind of surprised by. But it's like the only reason I know about this game is it was like $2. So I was like,
this is like they sent me a code for this.
Nice. At some point I watched, I think, a Nathaniel Bandy video, and I don't watch a lot of his videos, but this one happened. He mentioned this game in there. He bought like, a bunch of really cheap games, and this was one of them. And this one, he was like, honestly, like not a terrible game. Like it's kind of fun. It's just like a very small, like sort of in the like, Breath of the Wild kind of idea. It's like, it's a really basic kind of boring open world, but like there's some platforming stuff. And
we're getting a little too liberal with the Breath of the Wild comparison.
Yeah.
Well, saying that you have a Breath of the Wild like game.
It's not a Breath of the Wild like, but you have a what's it called? Parasail? That thing?
Paraglider.
You get like a paraglider thing in it, and you do some things. So like that's, I think, the comparison. So in any case, I was like, I'll just pick it up and play it. And it's not the best game by any means, but it's fine. Like you can play for a little bit. So
I don't even think I've actually played it. Like I think I downloaded it and then I don't know, something else came out or something.
It runs pretty bad, to be honest, which is like pretty sad for how like plain it is or whatever. But I think it's just like is not well optimized in terms of like it'll just try to load as many of the random what are you doing, Arthur? It'll try to load as many of the random what's the word I'm looking for? Objects and stuff in the distance.
Assets.
Yeah, there you go. Sure. So there's that one.
Sure, that's a word.
Next up, so number 2 of 4 that I'm actually going to talk about, Oxenfree, because Oxenfree 2 is coming out. Oxenfree was $2, so I picked that up.
Is it called Oxenfree 2? I thought it was like Oxenfree World or something like that.
Are you thinking of Ollie Ollie World?
Yes, maybe? That's what I'm thinking
of. Yeah, so this one's kind of like a mystery, like a walking sim, I think is mostly what it is. I haven't gotten super far in it. Ashley and I kind of played it together one night where I was mostly controlling it and she was like, you have some dialogue tree options and stuff at various parts that I don't know if they changed the story, but they at least changed the dialogue and stuff that you like learn about or whatever. But she looked up the rest of the story, so she knows the rest of it, and somehow that incentivizes me to play it a little bit less, like knowing that of the two of us she already knows it. It's a pretty dumb thing. Like I'm just like that with certain things. Like if somebody else, like if she's already watched a show, I'm less likely to go and watch through that show and catch up because like somebody already knows what's up. But seems like a neat walking sim kind of thing. All right, I'll come back to the other two. You say some words now because I'm monopolizing the game talk. But
I mean, it made sense for you to monopolize the game talk because for the most part, I just played the games that I usually play, but also like so the thing that I did that I'm doing now is I restarted the Nuzlocke again.
Yes.
And this time, Twitch chat actually let me pick the Pokemon I've been telling Twitch chat to let me play the whole time. And I'm tearing it up, dude. It's free, man. It's super easy because the other two starters, not great, not for a Nuzlocke.
Did you pick Sobble, I guess?
I did. I picked Sobble, and so far only lost one Pokemon. And
because it was the fire gym last time that did you in?
No, it's freaking B. She's my arch enemy, dude. And I'm on B now. So that would be the true test. If I beat B with more than one Pokemon to my name, Sobble, best starter, confirmed.
Yep, that's right. You better believe it.
But yeah, I lost one Pokemon. It was Baby.
Sad.
Freaking,
man,
it was my fault though. Like, I didn't have to lose that Pokemon. It was kind of a meme. It was kind of for content. But
do you feel like that? Do you feel like that's kind of the Magikarp Gyarados of this gen sort of thing? In that Baby, right? As in
the baby, the
Nuzzle,
child.
Whatever.
Yes,
what's it called?
Toxel, that's his name.
Toxel, there you go. I just called it its move.
Kind of, yes.
It sucks
it's a baby
as
Pokemon.
Toxel.
Like all baby Pokemon are kind of garbage. That's the whole point. They're babies.
But it just goes right from baby to
God.
Yeah, right. Which is crazy. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but like I can't think of many other Pokemon that do specifically that, other than the ones
There's
where
it's a decent amount of them. Like Shinx is kind of like that. Not so much in Brilliant Diamond, Shine and Pearl. They kind of buff Shinx in that game.
Okay, gotcha.
But Shinx
that's my main exposure to it.
Garbage. Like Shinx used to be very useless until like level 18 or something like that.
Yeah.
And arguably until it evolved, but it learned Spark on like at level 18. It's like, oh, finally you have an electric type attack that coincidentally is not good. I don't think it used to learn Thundershock, but now they give it Thundershock at like level 10 or something like that. So it gets a stab attack sort of earlier, but even Thundershock isn't great for Shinx because it's a physical attacker. But yeah, no,
Justin said Feebas Melodic. That's true. Yep.
True. But I mean, those are basically Magikarp.
That's Magikarp.
But yeah, no, the baby died because of my own negligence,
hubris.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, dude, I could totally do this, man. The baby can kill it. And then they use a ground type attack on me. I was in the water gym. I was in the water gym battling with the random trainers, and they use mud shot. And I'm like, dude, how am I supposed to know that this stupid thing has mud shot? And it freaking killed the baby.
Yep.
But then after I lost that Pokemon, is easy breezy.
Easy breezy. I'm looking up what its stats are. Oh, its stats are quite awful. Like, I mean, a baby stats.
Friendship didn't save it. It wasn't even old enough to be a friendship Pokemon. Because you are the Pokemon guy. There's 1,000 Pokemon. I can't know every Pokemon's move pool. And I can't know every Pokemon's move pool in the context of the gym battle of like what they're going to teach their random trainer Pokemon. I don't know that I don't even remember what the Pokemon was that I died to, but it used mud shot on me. I was very upset, but it was mostly funny because I was like, oh, it's Tim Pool. That's who it was. That's who it was. But yeah, no, it was very, very unfortunate, but mostly hilarious.
Straight up, he goes from
I'm still traumatized.
It goes from total base stat of 242 to total of 502 in one evolution, which is like, man.
If only there was an index of information of shared experiences available. You think I'm gonna go? I'm not Bob Wolf. I'd rather lose to Pokemon. So I don't care that much. But yeah, no, the baby's dead. But after the baby died, everybody else is alive and well. Nice. It's great. It's going good. Nice. So I just gotta again, the ultimate test is B. We'll find out next week if I pass where I was. Got your type chart open, AJ? I don't need a type chart. It had nothing to do with the type. I knew it was going to die if I got hit with a ground type attack. I just didn't know it had a ground type attack. Anyway, Pokemon, it's happening. Yep. I'm doing the thing. I was going to also, because I want to do, Arceus isn't out until freaking 28th or whatever.
Right.
And, 27 because I got the Australian copy.
True.
And I was like, I want to play Pokemon, but I don't really want to play Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl because that game, Gen 4 specifically, like it has nothing to do with the remake. It's just Gen 4's kind of garbage.
Yeah, I'll get to that in a minute.
Don't really want to play that. But I did debate playing it because I was like, yo, I should just like try to beat Brilliant Diamond with just Piplup. Should do that. But then I was like, wait, I still could do the Nuzlocke, and maybe chat will let me pick Sobble, and they did. So here we are.
Nice. Yeah, I'm playing through Shining Pearl, and I beat the third gym.
If Lentil dies, I will riot. Lentil's fine, dude.
Yeah. I which one's Lentil?
Lentil is Eldegoss.
Nice. Yeah. So I'm playing through Shining Pearl, and I don't know if I'm gonna keep playing past where I'm at, honestly, because it's just like every time I load it up, it's again, yeah, maybe it's just a Gen 4 thing, or like they didn't particularly spruce it up in this one or whatever. But yeah, I'm just like I generally kind of just get bored most of the time when I'm playing it. Like, it's not to say that it's inherently bad or whatever for everybody, but for me at least, it's like
the game sucks. Gen 4 garbage. I think the best parts of the game is the remake parts, but that's not saying much. Like, for this game to have been good, they would have needed to restructure this game.
Yeah, like
it would have had to be a like Legends Arceus level of restructuring. And I mean, jury's still out on the game.
Yeah,
we'll get to that. But yeah, no, Sinnoh kind of sucks. It's not a good region.
I mean, to be honest, like it just feels super samey the whole time. Like, again, the perfect depiction of that is when everything that I thought I remember from Gen 4 was Gen 3 stuff, because that was all memorable. And like the stuff in Gen 4 so far, I do remember, the only thing that I specifically remember from Gen 4 is the snow area, like way up north or whatever. So that's something. But everything else so far like wasn't even particularly memorable as I was playing it. So it's, yeah, I don't know.
It's kind of disappointing because like I knew I didn't like that region. I'm pretty sure I've talked about it multiple times in videos where I'm like, Gen 4, not great. This region kind of sucks, but hopefully they fix it. And then they remade it, and I was like, no, this just confirms, because I know I have a lot of friends that like that region, because like when they got to an age where they understand Pokemon, it's like, yo, that, that was my Pokemon Prime. I love that game. And it's like the game actually just not good.
Yeah, I mean, and as far as like, there's not a lot so far of Pokemon variety either, which, like, that's not too unusual, I guess. But at this
It
point in the game,
kind of
like,
is
but
though.
it feels
Like
worse
I
than
think
normal. Like, it's just like
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like
Geodudes, Ponyta,
Gen 3
Cricketop or
and Gen
Cricketune.
4 specifically are pretty guilty of that, where there's like not really that much variety in the like route to route. Like I mean, I guess technically the first four generations, but you don't really notice it that much for the first two because there's 200 Pokemon at max.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But once you get in the Gen 3, it's like, all right, there's a lot of Pokemon that you could be putting here, but you're not putting them here because you want people to like transfer from prior gens and stuff like that.
I mean, or also in this one, they've obviously saved some of the Pokemon to be exclusive to honey trees, or that kind of a thing.
Also,
maybe there's
like,
nothing else like
back
that
then with platinum and
yeah,
like that sort of stuff. But like, it just feels bad. It's just like, how many times am I going to run in the freaking Bieberl or whatever? Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I have not even the first time that I ran into that Pokemon was I like, oh shoot, that Pokemon. It's like, I guess I need you to fill up the Pokedex. But like, the 30th time I run into him, I want to throw my freaking Switch into the wall. Like, I'm sick of it. Every Pokemon in Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl turns into Zubat. That Zubat meme, because you see all of them so much.
Yeah. I think at this point, the only things that would keep me going in playing it, only might be a strong word, but well, okay. Only number one, guilt, maybe, because I paid money for it. So but that I don't think that's strong enough anymore. So probably not. So then the real other only things would be if I turned it to some kind of Nuzlocke challenge run after the fact now, just to make it more interesting and more exciting. Then, or otherwise, like, I think just the beating Cynthia ?
Yeah.
In the Elite Four, like, I know that that's a challenge. So like, getting to that point is maybe that, but also it's kind of like, then I could just grind if I wanted to.
Exactly. That's the thing about it, right? Where it's like, Cynthia's only quote unquote hard because nobody knew that she was going to be hard. Like, it was just poor design. It was just like, oh, randomly we just hiked up the levels and we gave every Pokemon the Elite Four competitive move sets and competitive EV spreads and like super RNG with their luck. Good luck. But if you go into it knowing that they're juiced like that, you can just juice your Pokemon, and the only thing you got to contend with is RNG. And at that point, it's just diminishing returns. It's like, all right, well, you're going to take advantage of RNG, and I can pay to win. I could just buy a whole bunch of potions and revives and all that nonsense. Or you could just be like me and understand the video game and know that it's math and know that 4 is always going to beat 3. So just throw a 4 at them and the 3 is going to lose. Like, so, right.
Yeah.
I hate to see it.
Yep. So all that said, I feel like I've got other more interesting games to play. And that's probably just not one of the ones anymore. You hate to see it, but it is what it is.
True.
The next one I will talk about, I got this on sale for $2. But I think it's normally like $7.
When we did the top 5, we did the top 5 games of 2021. I don't think Brilliant Diamond was on either one of our lists.
No.
And it's sad that it's not on mine. Like, that's rip. No, what were you about to say?
I mean, no, that's absolutely true. Next one up, I Stick Fight the game. Is that like Basically, yes. Okay. Like, that's exactly what that is. And it's just like silly, chaotic multiplayer fun. So especially for local co-op, but I think you can play it online too. I like to have some local co-op games. And it's just super dumb fun. So like, I don't know, you can check it. Specifically, I had watched a long time ago. I'd watched a Donkey video, I think, of him playing this with some friends, and it was just really funny. So I remember watching that. And then when I saw that it was on sale for $2, I picked it up. And yeah, there you go. That's it. Pretty fun. And then the last one, this one's been on my wish list or whatever for a while, and I just like never got around to getting it. But Yoku's Island Express was just $5, and man, that is
I think I have that
great game
too.
I think so. I'm pretty sure there's a couple games that you've got that it's like, they'll just go on sale. It's like I could
True,
play them on your
yeah.
account, or it's just like I'll just get them whenever I'm gonna get ready to play them or something like that. So, but yeah, this one, man, it's if somebody doesn't know about what it is, Yoku's Island Express is really pretty for one thing, just like just a nice kind of painterly sort of art style or whatever. But you're a little beetle who rolls around a ball, and it's a Metroidvania, but most of the like actual movement is through pinball mechanics. You don't have to like pinball mechanics to get into it and to enjoy it. Like Ashley and I both kind of go back and forth and play it. And probably I don't know that she played much of any pinball before this. I don't know. And she just kind of like got the hang of it after a little bit. So yeah, it's super fun. Like just a
Yes,
it's a Metroidvania. So fun
I
times.
do have it. Can confirm I have
Nice.
this game.
Yep.
Yeah. I think I played a little bit of it. It's neat.
Yeah. There's a demo too, so you can check it out. But yeah, it goes on sale for $5 fairly often. I just decided this time to go ahead and get it. And there's so many more games that have been on sale that I was like, man, I should get some of these, but I already have multiple of these that
you're never
exactly. So, and especially like Hades and Moonlighter, both of those are roguelikes to where like
that's on Game Pass, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but you don't
Game Pass a while ago.
Yeah, I was about to say you don't
just because I don't have as much time to play games these days, unfortunately. But both of those are roguelikes that like I probably will only be able to keep up one of those at a time. So whichever one I start is probably the one. So there you go.
Also I played more Unite, and I got in the veteran, so now I can play with my friends again.
Hey,
it sucks.
Is that the like top rank?
No, it's the lowest rank that you can play with the top rank, because every rank you can only play with like I think 2 or 3 levels below you. And veteran is the lowest rank that you can play with masters. So now I can get to masters because I can play with people that like never stopped playing the game and got into masters together. So that's cool. Dragon Knight's out. Dragon Knight came out like, I don't know, last month or something like that. And Dragon Knight is like Charizard if Charizard was good. And that's neat.
Nice.
Because Charizard sucks in that game. It's very unfortunate. It's very sad.
Yeah.
How dare they make Charizard bad in a video game? Charizard should never be bad in a video game, except for in Smash 4. He was kind of bad in that video game. What are you going to do? You know?
Yep. The only way they should make him bad is if it's canon to the show and he's disobedient and just like falling asleep or something. Sure. And then it's just like, it's funny, you know? But yeah, otherwise, Charizard's cool. But nice. I'm glad you're playing that again or something.
I don't know how much I'm playing it again. I just played it until I can get up to Masters rank, the rank that I can play with Masters rank. And then I'm never playing it by myself again. I refuse, because it is so like, I have fun with the game. The game's fun. But like it's so frustrating. It's like what I've talked about with Splatoon, where it's like I hate playing team-based games that are like competitive games, because if my teammates suck, it's so infuriating. Because it's like we could be winning if you weren't an idiot.
Like, honestly, that's my biggest thing for Splatoon 3 is like, as long as it has enough game that I don't have to do any like online multiplayer stuff to get the most, to get the full $60 or whatever out of it or something like that, then I'll be down to like, I'm terrible at shooters and motion controls with it and stuff, but I'll figure it out.
That matters as much in this game. Like I know a lot of people that are garbage at shooters that are pretty good at Splatoon, because you don't really have to be, especially for like the main mode. For Turf War, you don't need to be good at shooters to aim at the ground.
Right. Yeah.
The thing with Splatoon that is frustrating for me now is that so many people are on the opposite end of the spectrum and they want to be good at shooters. So they're playing Call of Duty instead of playing the game. That is the point of the game. It's like killing people only does but so much in this game. Like cover the turf, please. And when they don't, it's just like, I can't do that. If there's 4 other people on the other team that are doing their job, and there's only one person on my team that is trying to do his job, I'm just mathematically out. Like I can't win that. Like, but that's beside the point. Funny, I think Splatoon 3 is going to be neat, but we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Nice. Anything else?
Smash.
Yeah.
Still, the Pokemon trainer, the whole thing of like turning, like you turn one slider and the other slider goes down.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, my Squirtle's where I want it to be. But my Ivysaur. Well, my Ivysaur, that slider never goes down. My Ivysaur always cracked, always broken. Like every time I play with any Pokemon trainer that is a top level Pokemon trainer, they're like, "Oh, your Ivysaur's are like you don't gotta, you're fine with Ivysaur." But Squirtle and Charizard, they just go back and forth. So next, I'm trying to work on Charizard, and then I'll go back to Squirtle when I realize it's like, nah, but my Charizard's too good versus how good my Squirtle is. So just doing that.
Yeah. I mean, and if you're not playing as Pokemon Trainer in there, then you could always play it in Pokemon Legends Arceus at the end of this month.
It's true.
And that's how we're getting to this topic.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's talk about Pokemon.
Yo, I've never talked about Pokemon before. This would be a brand new opportunity for me.
Okay, I figured, Pokemon Legends Arceus is coming out in less than a month, and I don't know. Like at this point, we kind of know a lot about it, and we kind of don't know a lot about it, or we do, and there's not. Like it feels to me, at least, still a bit ambiguous in a way that could be good or could be bad. And like, I don't know. Just want to talk our hopes and fears or whatever for Pokemon Legends Arceus before it comes out.
Yeah. I don't really have. Like I think that the place that I'm at with this game, the only thing it could do is surprise me because I'm not going to say that I have low expectations because I don't think that the game will be bad, but I don't think the game will be what people want the game to be. And I don't necessarily think that that's a bad thing either. Mm-hmm. Because if the game is not what people want it to be and it either sells worse because of that or it gets a certain amount of like hopefully measured criticism, which it won't be measured at all. Pokemon Company will want to change it. And I mean, they've said as much before the game even came out that they want to give people what they want. I mean, we'll get to that. So I don't know. My only real fear with the game is that it's going to be like very short-lived compared to every other Pokemon game. Like even not liking Brilliant Diamond, China Pearl or whatever, like if I like there's plenty of content in that game where I could put 200, 300, 400 hours into that game easily and not have to like make up stuff to do, in Arceus it seems like once you're done.
Yeah, I mean, actually, ironically, I was going to talk about that, or I was thinking a similar kind of thing, but in sort of the opposite. I agree that I would like it to have, a lot of content or whatever. But what I do want out of it is it not to have the like continued events kind of thing like we get in Sword and Shield or whatever, where it's like, hey, trainers, this week this Pokemon's doing this thing or this new Pokemon, you know what I mean? Like I want it to be contained within the thing, but what is contained within it is a lot, and like it has a lot of replay value or whatever, because something about that just feels really artificial as soon as there's like new events and stuff like that in something that I want to feel like an ecosystem, like a world or whatever. And like looks like it'll feel like that probably to some degree, but no, I'm totally with you that like that's the biggest question that I have is like, what's the like main gameplay loop gonna be? Because like, not that it's Breath of the Wild, but like in Breath of the Wild, I probably would have thought that the main gameplay loop was like, I don't know, I would have attributed one thing or another to it, and then to find out it's like, nope, it's literally just exploration, and everything else is like the just what you found. You're doing things.
I think with Breath of the Wild, and I'm pretty sure I don't think I made a video about it on fanatixfour. I think I made a video about it on TGN. Where I thought that the game was going to be about the world, where it's like it would take place like after Skyward Sword, and it was about mapping out Hyrule. Because
interesting.
Hyrule, what is this place? Like that whole thing, because it makes use of the open world, and that's something that Nintendo usually likes to do. Like when they have a new feature in a game, they usually try to design the whole game around that new feature. Cappy, for instance,
right?
And they sort of do that in Breath of the Wild. The world is a big part of the gameplay loop, but it's not like that. I don't think that
Right.
Game Freak they don't design games like that. They're
Right.
not,
Yeah.
they're not that good at game design in that one. So I kind of doubt that. I think that the open world will very much so be the type of open world that like Pokemon fans are asking for, and that's not a good thing. Like, that's not a good thing at all, because like Pokemon fans are just like, just make it bigger. It's like that's pretty much what Pokemon fans say on the whole. And that's a bad idea. And I think that that's what it's going to be. It's going to be big, not necessarily empty, but at the end of the day, empty.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, is there going to be that much synergy between like the Pokemon out in the overworld and I don't know, just yes. I mean,
what
exactly
you're doing
what you were
and
saying.
why you're doing it and why like that. Both of those things need to feel like natural to you. Like it needs to be able to be a thing that is not just extrinsic. It can't just be the game wants me to do this. It's like in Breath of the Wild, right? You can progress through the game, and I know this for a fact because it's what I did, not paying attention to what the game tells you to do at all, and you still get through the game because you naturally like, oh, what the heck is that? And then you go over there and then you run into an actual objective, and it's like, oh, I might as well do that while I'm here. And then you do that, and then you run into another thing. You're like, what the heck is that? And then you go and do that, and you run into more objectives. This game, I don't feel like it's going to be like that. I feel like it's going to like be like that for a short amount of time because open world is semi new to Pokemon. We do have the wild area. There's going to be certain moments where it's like, oh shoot, that Pokemon's far off in the distance. I'm going to run over there, and then it's like, oh shoot, turns out I had to catch this Pokemon. That's neat. But that's not really the same thing as like, oh man, I'm running away from this Guardian, and then I ran into Zora's domain randomly. You know, like that sort of thing.
I mean, in terms of that too, and like the Pokemon themselves, I wonder to what degree they're going to be what's the right word for that? I don't know, like delegitimized or something like that, where it's like you have 500 Wurmples or whatever. That kind of a thing. I'm definitely curious about that because like catching Pokemon, it seems like can be really easy, and a lot of that is so that you can catch 10 Wurmples for specific quest or whatever. Like, so Alex said, I think the implied mission-based structure in nature will get me, which like I think it could be great the way they do that, but it also has risk of being not great. So like Pokemon feeling like cheapened in the world is like they are the thing to what we know so far. They're the thing in the actual world that is like the main the main attraction or whatever. Is like
having a mission. The thing is like either extreme doesn't seem good. It doesn't seem good to be like, all right, catch every Pokemon and those are the missions. You don't have a Wurmple, so go catch a Wurmple. Okay, I caught a Wurmple and that mission's done and I'm never going to need to catch a Wurmple again. That doesn't feel great. On the other end, all right, catch 10 Wurmples. Why? What do I need 10 Wurmples for? What is that going to do for me?
Right. Yeah.
Like I just don't think. I think that like the thing that people are talking about a lot, and this was because of a rep for Pokemon Company or Nintendo, whichever one. I don't remember what exactly their affiliation was. That was like, it's Monster Hunter. I don't think Pokemon's conducive to Monster Hunter because the thing for Monster Hunter that is like that keeps most people going in Monster Hunter is that they have fun with the gameplay itself. So it's like that's just a means to an end where it's like I enjoy fighting these monsters, so I'm going to continue to fight this same monster so I can get better armor so that I can fight stronger monsters, and that is the fun of it. But catching a Pokemon isn't fun. It's just like, all right, well, I'm going to pick this and I'm going to weaken it, or in this game I'm going to throw the ball at the thing and then hopefully it stays in the Pokeball. And how many times can you do that before it's like, all right, well, I caught the Ornville.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, best case scenario is that on one hand, fighting wise, that the changes that they made there make it more fun. So that's best case scenario on that side. And best case scenario on the catching side is that the act of, I mean, like, Pokemon Go, that basically is just like all it is just catching Pokemon, or even like Pokemon Let's Go. It's like just a ton of catching Pokemon and stuff like that. But the mechanic of it, of like having to aim the reticle in this case or whatever, like maybe some of that is a fun, rewarding loop where it kind of feels like the more you do it, the more it cycles into the next thing or whatever.
Yeah,
but it could easily be that it's not.
Yeah, like if
so
it
that's
is,
the risk.
if it is like a Pokemon Go or Pokemon Let's Go thing in the sense that the more you get, the more you're rewarded, because the more Magikarp you have, right, the easier it is to get Gyarados because you get rid of the Magikarp to get a Gyarados. Or you keep catching certain Pokemon and you turn those Pokemon into candy until you get a good version of that Pokemon with 3 stars or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But like, if this is just a regular Pokemon game and candy are like, if candy are involved, then those Pokemon will kind of feel lessened in a sense, because like Let's Go Pokemon are not one-to-one with like real Pokemon, which you put them in home, right? So like, if the way that you level up the Pokemon within the Arceus ecosystem, and the idea is like to have that Pokemon live on in other games in the future, if that's how you make your Pokemon better and get a good version of Pokemon, it's only going to be good in this game. So it doesn't feel as good as in Let's Go. I mean, in Go, where it's a long haul game that you play for a very long time. So eventually you'll get a 3-star, like perfect stats Pokemon that you can be like, all right, this is the one I'm putting in my home, and that's worth. And there's 1,000 Pokemon that eventually will be catchable in this game. Like, that's not going to happen in Arceus.
Yeah, so I think, I mean, gameplay loop wise, that's definitely a big question.
It depends on how fun the battle system is, and like the what look like boss battles, how fun are they, and how many of those are there.
And also what they like. I think the thing is, this could introduce also a lot more into the just what's important in a Pokemon game than any other games have or whatever, where like the mission based structure, what are the things that you're getting out of that, and how does that feed back into the rest of the gameplay? Because if it's like in other games, I can't really imagine much of a ideal reward, you know what I mean? Like, whatever that is, like, is it more Pokeballs to catch more things? Is it more, you know, like there's a question mark, like an X factor there, that if they came up with something that's rewarding enough that you really want to finish missions so that you can something,
right,
then I think that could be really strong.
The thing is, like, for a gameplay loop like the one that people seem to think this game has, whether they're in the camp that it's Monster Hunter or if they're in the camp that it's Breath of the Wild, they need to fundamentally change Pokemon as a game. And that's a good thing. I hope that they do that.
Yeah, exactly.
But I doubt that they will.
Right.
I think that it will have like the set dressing of either a Breath of the Wild or a Monster Hunter, or more than likely like just somewhere in between, like Breath of the Wild, Skyward Sword sort of area. And it's just Pokemon. It's Pokemon within that sort of world. And I think that if anything, that just dilutes Pokemon and makes Pokemon even less fun than it currently is.
Yeah. Alec said cute outfits as a reward, to tie it back to Monster Hunter.
True.
I laughed at first, but also it could be that it has to do with actual progression. Like, we do know that we can't get to all of the regions at the outset. I'm pretty sure. But they're all kind of like disparate things that you I guess eventually go through. So like, maybe it is something where it's like, oh yeah, we don't have enough some things to make the warm clothes that you need for the cold area or whatever. I don't know, you know, like, and it's something where,
and the thing about it is,
it's
like,
about exploration at that point. I don't know.
So many ideas that I have that could easily answer these questions. I don't think they're going to do any of them in this video. Like, I think that eventually they can get there, because a lot of them are informed, like the ideas that I have specifically are informed by things that they have done in the past in other games and other mediums, so on and so forth. But this game's not going to do that, and it's very obvious that it won't. And I think that there will be moments like that where it's like going to be tied to progression, but it's going to be tied to progression in a very stupid way. It's going to be like, it's going to be very cut through the tree adjacent sort of situation, right? Where it's like, I could literally walk around this tree, but the video game tells me I need to cut it, so I guess I gotta cut it. But there's like easy ways to make that patch, like that narrative patch, believable, and it doesn't feel frustrating, because it's like, oh well, obviously to be able to fly with my Pokemon, with my freaking Pidgey, I need to evolve him to a Pidgeot so he's big enough to fly me. You know, like that sort of thing. Like, instead of the arbitrary, get this HM, teach your Pokemon that you see flying on your screen at all times how to fly. Like,
I mean, or in this case, you know, if it is that like these missions have some kind of, use the like warm clothes example or whatever. It's a bad one, but we'll just use it for the sake of argument. If it's like, catch, 5 Hisuian Growliths so that
So
we
you can skin them.
Actually, that was a more apt example than I meant it to be. Catch some beautifies or whatever. Like, that's just like doesn't make any sense how that would transition to the other thing. Whereas like in Breath of the Wild, the logic generally follows for most things, and that's like good. So I don't know. We'll see.
Alex said shear them.
Shear them.
They don't shear dogs, man. But yeah, no, I think that it's going to be a very like stupid solution in this game. I think that they'll eventually get to the point of, because Breath of the Wild has a lot of things like that where it's like, even if it's cartoon logic, it's like, oh, this thing that you want me to get totally makes sense. And it makes so much sense that to go out the waterfall, I need the full Zora suit or whatever. Like, like that sort of stuff, like that makes sense. And I hope eventually they'll get to the point where the MacGuffin in Pokemon games is like, oh, well, that makes sense. Of course I need that. I don't think Arceus will be the one where that happens.
Yeah, it's tough. I was talking to some friends, so 2 friends that are in my D&D group that both of them are dads, and they got Switches for their families for Christmas. And so one of them was asking like, which Pokemon game should I get for my daughter who loves Pokemon and would like to play a game. For the record, we suggested Let's Go. And the other friend has been, I guess, like doing research on Switch stuff now that he's been is interested in and stuff. And he was like, man, also be on the lookout for Legends Arceus, because that game's gonna rock. And I was like, that's what I'm a little bit afraid of, is that people are like really excited and then that it ends up being a disappointment. Like,
there's so many people
obviously
that think
people can
especially people outside of this realm, I never saw a video of me being like, I don't know, be wary of that, or anybody being like that, right? They see the advertisements because they are very like reminiscent of Breath of the Wild, and they suggest it's like this is the one, dude. This is the open world Pokemon game that you've always wanted.
Yeah, and I hope I'm wrong, for the record. Like that, I very much hope that I'm.
But I doubt.
Here's the other thing that like gives me a glimmer of hope is that we haven't seen anything. So we've seen Cleaver Noble fight, Cleaver, whatever. We haven't seen any other of those. We haven't seen any story stuff like at all. Like whatever the Arceus tie into all this is, we don't know what that is. So there's a hope that right now we're seeing all the window dressings of the game, and there's a core that's just like yet to be discovered.
Like, what is the trainer's journey equivalent here? Yeah, because like people like with Sword and Shield specifically, it was like this whole thing of like people being tired of that. But if that's missing, the game's going to suck. Like when they even tried to change it a little bit, and I don't necessarily agree with the community at large here. Like I know Alex specifically loves Sun and Moon, but the community hates it because they tried to change the trainer's journey equivalent, and they did it in a like kind of half-assed way, not gonna lie. Because they could have, a lot of the like trial captains or whatever, what they tell you to do is very like Orange Island like, but the gameplay of it fell flat. Like when it's like, oh, we got to cook this soup, like that's my trial. You cook the soup, you got to find the berries and stuff. Like, why didn't you turn that into freaking Cooking Mama, dude? It could, like on the gameplay level, it could have been so much fun and like a good change of pace. And like Orange Islands, where it was like Ash, one of his things was they had to race down the mountain, and like to race down the mountain, you had to make the bobsled with your Pokemon.
Possibly one of my favorite, like top 5 Pokemon episodes, for the record. Like it's just so good. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. Like what Alex said, they're basically gyms, but they're like worse gyms. Because it's like, you battle the like boss Pokemon or whatever, right? And that's basically just like a juiced up Pokemon that can call like earlier versions of themselves into the battle, or like Pokemon that are related to them in one way or another into the battle. And that's like not fun. It's like, all right, whatever. And then you battle the trial captain, and that's like not fun. But with regular gyms, it's like you have the puzzle. Usually you have the trainer, like the gym trainers within the gym that you can battle, and then you have the gym leader. There's no real like trainer equivalent, like the gym trainer equivalent, and there's not usually a puzzle equivalent. So it's just like a diluted gym.
Yeah.
And
I guess that is a positive thing about this game is that they are doing, like with the having to dodge out of the way of the raging Pokemon or whatever they're called, like, and the noble stuff. Like
like
there
the boss battles of whatever the nobles are should be
Mhm.
fun.
Yeah.
But what do you do
They try.
outside of that?
Yeah.
Is the thing.
It is the thing. So outside of gameplay stuff, last bits, and then we've got a bunch of questions that I just pulled from Q&A up to here because they're related to it. But like, what's your okay? Well, I'll just say this instead. At this point, we've seen probably what the final game is going to look like. I would guess. Like, I don't know that it's going to graphically change very much. And my opinion on it is the following.
I don't really care.
That's pretty much where I'm at. It's like, I think in general, it's pretty. Like when you kind of just either like half squint your eyes or like
It
kind of
looks
look at
as good as literally any Pokemon game, barring like Pokemon Snap ever has. Like Pokemon games have never looked good ever. Ever. Like there's people that are like nostalgic for like the sprite base and all that stuff, and that's like more subjective, but like on a technological level, like they still didn't run great compared to other games of their era and stuff. Like they've never been technological marvels.
I think
ever.
even in thinking relative to the like pixel art stuff is the thing that's nice about the pixel art stuff is the like art direction, I don't know, the way that they're imagining things. And I feel like the art direction in broad strokes is actually still really good in this game. Like
I think the art direction is always like a version of what the art direction has always been.
Yeah.
Like that's why it was like a head scratcher for me when people hated Brilliant Diamond, Shine and Pearl, because I'm like, this is just a 3D version of the sprites. Like,
yeah. So like I think in general it looks, but it's just like how the technical side of the implementation of the art direction, whatever, sure, it's lacking. But also, like I can just, instead of weird here, is that, I don't remember how to pronounce it, Sandler's Evolution or whatever,
something like that.
It shows a shot of that Pokemon. It's like, he looks so majestic, and instead, for whatever reason, my eyes are drawn to the terrible grass texture right under his feet. And it's a terrible grass texture. But you know what? Just look at the Pokemon instead. Like, who cares? Is where I'm at this point. Like, I think in general, it's going to be pleasing to look at as long as I'm not looking at the other things. And I think too many of us, hot take, but also not that hot of a take, I think too many of us are looking at the things, are looking for things to look.
Obviously. Yeah, like they don't care about the tree texture because they didn't make the tree. It's just a tree, dude. Like they spent the time and money designing the Pokemon.
Yeah. And I would much rather they focus on the other things. Sure, I'd also rather, in a perfect world, that they also get all the time they need to spend on trees and stuff like that. But you know what? Like, of the things I much more care about, number one, the game loop, gameplay, it being fun and all that kind of stuff. And then everything else kind of subsequent to that.
Yeah, for me, like I don't care. I was like, I'm not. They're not going to blow my socks off with any art style until they just make it look like every other Pokemon thing. Like I want it to look like the mangas look like, and the shows look like, and the advertising for this game looks like. Like they did like the whole like with the art of like the ink paintings and stuff like that of this game, like just make it look like that. Make Pokemon an animated like Cyber Connect 2 game, like a Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 game that looks like that. That will be the like peak of Pokemon. I know there's a lot of people that want hyper realistic. That would be stupid. Make Pokemon look like an anime. Because it is an anime.
Yeah, fully agreed. All right, so now getting into some of these questions or comments or that kind of thing. Sierra Plus Ultra asked, was Def wondering if you guys had any thoughts on the new Japanese Arceus trailer?
You fused.
I did. I messed it up.
I saw the trailer. There wasn't really anything in there that was new, though.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, I felt like I might have missed something, but no, I agree.
Like I was like watching for it. I was like, I don't know what they're saying. So maybe they're saying something that's like, oh, that's a revelation. But like all the footage, I think they've shown before, if I'm not.
Or at least most of it, or at least variations on the things
like
that
a
they did,
different angle of like the
right,
same
exactly.
scenes or whatever.
There was like one or two things. No, yeah, like maybe a couple of the raging Pokemon or whatever were ones I hadn't seen. Like, had we seen Electivire?
Yeah, we saw
Maybe.
Electivire. I think we saw
Okay.
Electivire in the first trailer where they were like, "Oh shoot,
Oh, gotcha.
Pokemon
Yeah,
are
that's
attacking
right.
the children."
Yeah. So like, yeah, to me it seems like maybe they had a couple new bits of the things we'd already seen, but otherwise it seemed like it just compiled all the things we've already seen in one place. Which, again, to go back to the other things, to me either means they're purposefully showing a certain amount of stuff and there's other things, or that's kind of everything, and then there's
Right.
a couple other little things, and
Yeah.
I don't know which it is. I'm hoping for the former.
Yeah,
But we'll see.
I hope that we play the game and we're like, oh shoot, what the heck? I didn't expect any of this, but I doubt it. I think that there will be some surprises in terms of like the Pokemon that are in it and like that, like that stuff will be surprising. Sure. There will be like Hisuian forms that's like, oh shoot, I didn't know that this was a thing. But I just don't have a whole lot of faith in the gameplay being.
And I am glad that they're assuming that there are more that we don't know about or whatever. I'm glad that they're not showing as many as, like, I feel like before Sword and Shield, every week was a new, like, here's this new Pokemon from the Galar region and stuff, where by the time I played the game, I felt like I'd seen like at least half of them. And so I'm hopeful that there's more stuff that we'll just find out about in the game. You know, again, yeah, as Alex said, still 3 weeks left to go. So
true. And they do definitely usually like Pokemon's marketing machine is like a drip feed until it's not, you know, like they get a couple weeks out and they're like, all right, every week we're dropping a trailer of some sort. And then the last 2-3 weeks, every other day we're dropping a trailer of some sort. So
did you, related to that, did you follow the saga with I don't know, short saga, so not a saga, but with John Cartwright and Samus Hunter the other day?
No.
Oh man, it was, so Samus Hunter is industry insider, quote unquote, that, like, you know, it seems like what's happened is at one point they got 1 or 2 actual bits of information, and then now they and a bunch of other people that are industry insiders, not to say, I mean, there are people that are actually that for sure, and this is just one among others that seems to just like just say a bunch of stuff that, like, a bunch of it's and I was just like super vague stuff that, like, on a couple days ago. Well, so the thing was, they were like, yeah, industry people already have previews are going to be going up on, you know, this next week or the week after that at the latest, blah, blah, blah. And John Carter was like, yeah, for Arceus. And John Carter was like, seems surprising considering nobody in the industry's played the game yet. and then proceeded to get blocked immediately. And he was like, yeah, checks out. And it was just very funny.
It'd be like that.
So it was a fun thing. In any case, moving on to the next question. Pat Piplup asks, why can't Cyndaquil just always have his flames?
I don't know. I think people are too harsh on Cyndaquil, to be honest. I think that Typhlosion looks weird.
Yes. Okay, there you go.
Without his flames. I think Quilava and Cyndaquil are okay without their flames.
I'll agree with that. Yeah, Typhlosion for sure just like doesn't. I remember in Pokemon's new Pokemon Snap, Typhlosion's down in one area without his flames, and I'm like, man, that doesn't even feel like a Pokemon almost. Like, I mean, it is, but yeah, I think he should have his flames.
Yeah, he looks good with his flames, but I think he's fine without them.
Shepherd Boy said, I'm so looking forward to this game. Agreed.
Same.
It'll be fun. Benjamin Aquino said, do you think we will see more Legends games after focusing on different regions?
I think that it really depends on what they do with the mainline games moving forward.
Yeah,
like there's 2 distinct paths if they want to make sweeping changes that they could make, where it's like either they're like, okay, we're done with the usual like machine where it's one mainline game, one remake, and then we come back and make a remastered version of the mainline game, and then we move on from there. Or even what they kind of started that could be a new like cycle that's longer, and they could like involve more developers into to like give themselves more time, Call of Duty style. Where it's like mainline game, let's go game, remake, remastered mainline game, legends, like that sort of situation. They could do that.
What are you considering the remastered mainline game? Because the remake would
the
be
remastered mainline game in this case would be the DLC.
Okay, right, gotcha. So like the crystal or
crystal
or whatever. Okay,
yeah, exactly. So like honestly, if they wanted to like put out something every year, they could double down on like do DLC for the remakes, for the Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, like that sort of situation. They could do platinum DLC if they wanted to do that. They could do Legends. They could do a Let's Go game every year. And they could double up on DLC in the mainline game if they really, really wanted to. But I think the preferable thing is they go away for 5 years. they and they make a big mainline game, all hands on deck, Game Freak, Creatures Inc., like whatever other like Bandai Namco, like those types of studios help out with that sort of thing. And then in the interim, every 2 years they come out with a remake of a previous generation. And if they want to, like, coincide the release of the remake with a Legends game, but
I mean, yeah, no, totally. I think for one thing, it depends on, kind of like you alluded to, how they see these games that they're making. Like, was Let's Go and is Legends, are these games where they're testing waters for different things, or are they like branches in their own paths that are going to be their own thing? Because we haven't even seen a second Let's Go game yet. So like, is that going to happen? Maybe not.
Right. Like the question is like, are these games stopgaps to buy themselves more time right now? Or is it something that they think will be their like long-term strategy?
Yeah. I mean, the other thing that I could see them doing is more, because these are kind of, up until Legends Arceus, like this, this one's more of a spin-off in some ways. But a lot of the other ones, like Let's Go and the remakes and stuff like that, have been the traditional trainer's journey kind of thing, reusing things or whatever, stories and all that. But they could also just stand to do more like big budget Pokemon spin-offs. Like, I mean, new Pokemon Snap is pretty much the only example that I can think of on the Switch so far. But more of that kind of thing, like a Pokemon Stadium or a Pokemon Coliseum or Gale of Darkness or whatever, where they like, just get a whole different team to work on it, and that'll buy them some time for other things. But like if they want to make one Pokemon game a year, it doesn't have to be a turn-based RPG kind of thing. It could be anything else that feels like an eventized Pokemon something or other. And I guess we'll see, like, what are the new Pokemon Snap sales like? Is that something? I mean, it's not a holiday game, so like maybe if they put it in the holiday, would it? Yeah, it's a lot of questions. How do they stay afloat? Because that's their big problem is they're just.
I'm positive that game has more than stayed afloat, but
for sure.
I don't think the thing about it is like for these types of games to become mainstays, I think they need to demolish expectations. Like if they're like, we want this game to sell at least 5 million copies, it needs to sell 15 for them to like, oh shoot, all right, well, we're gonna make more new Pokemon Snap, like that sort of thing.
Yep. Actually, how much has new Pokemon Snap sold so far?
The last I heard was it was like somewhere in the 2 to 3 billion range.
Size. I'm gonna look it up. Here we go. I'm just find Snap, new Pokemon Snap. Yep, 2.49 million as of by the end of whenever that was. Quarter 3, quarter 2, whatever.
There it is. I mean, it'll probably settle around 5. I feel like it'll probably be like 5-6 million by the end of the life cycle.
Yep. Which honestly, definitely less than I was. Oh, okay.
It's pretty good. It's more than the original game sold by a lot. So
yeah. So that would be, but yeah, I think doing more of those kinds of things, having outside teams. I mean, especially, like it's when I say like less than I was expecting, I'm thinking Pokemon centric as opposed to just like games in general, like Bandai Namco making a game. That's the thing, is like thinking for like Bandai Namco made a game that sold 2.5 million units. That's like That's a lot. That's a lot of units, no matter which way you slice it. I don't know what other games they would have on Switch that are much more than that, other than
Smash.
the ones they did. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Has Smash sold that much? Do people know about that one?
It's probably sold a couple 2.5 millions.
Yeah,
probably a couple of
so
those.
I think, to answer your question, Benjamin, for me, I would think that Let's Go does become a series, and Legends is testing the water for mechanics and for stuff like that. And it, in and of itself, my guess is we don't see another Legends game.
Yeah, apparently the figure is more than 4 times the original, and that was back in May that they announced that.
So. Okay, I mean, so that's way more than that now.
Yeah, so it's like it was worth making at the very least.
Yeah. Actually, here, let's just see what's by the end of its life, it sold 3.6 million Pokemon Snap on N64. So yeah, I mean, I'd imagine just even by the end of holiday season, they'll pass that. So moving on, Big Marv asks, do you think the starters are going to have Hisuian evolutions?
Absolutely. I don't know when they'll start. Like, I don't know if the mid-evolution, I'd imagine probably the mid-evolution will be the first one that's like kind of different. It's like, oh, shoot, something different about this Pokemon, even if it's not like a straight up like, a Lowland Vulpix versus regular Vulpix difference. Or if it's just like, wait, that Pokemon doesn't have a stripe there. And then it evolves into the final evolution. It's like, oh, shoot.
That's interesting. I wouldn't have guessed that they would, just because it feels like starters are kind of hallowed ground kind of a thing. But then again, thinking about like all the different forms of like
they do
Charizard,
they did Gigantamax and they did Mega Evolutions and stuff like that, right? So like I could see them doing.
No, I bet you're right
here.
Thinking about it that way. Yeah, that'd be fun. I wonder what that means for Typhlosion specifically, because like Samurott and Decidueye, I can imagine them just leaning further into
their archetypes.
Right. Yeah,
they'd probably just give Typhlosion an archetype of some sort. What that archetype will be, I don't know.
Like a wrestler kind of thing, like
they already did wrestling. I don't think.
I mean, not like but like a sumo kind of, that sort of a thing. Yeah, exactly. Like old timey wrestling. I don't know.
Yeah. I think. Oh no, firefighting. True. I think that Samurott will continue to be garbage. So I'm thinking I'll probably pick Cyndaquil or Rowlet, but I don't really want to pick Rowlet.
I hate to want to pick Rowlet because it's the like
too many people are going to pick Rowlet. That's why
I know, but Rowlet. Like I love a good archer, like a clip.
Yeah, I've had enough. I'm sick of it. I already know Bob's picking Rowlet free. And I'm talking about potentially doing a stream thing with Bob, and I'm not picking the same Pokemon as Bob if we're both streaming it. Like, that's not fun.
Yeah, I feel like I've got a good reason to pick any of them. Rowlet because archery is neat. I'm down with the good water type.
Oshawott, I am keeping it a Duat. Like, because
I'm not too mad about it turning into a Samurott. Honestly, I never played that gen.
So stupid. He looks so dumb.
I'm looking at. Yeah, he honestly does. It's so sad. Dumb. He doesn't even look like a samurai.
And do you know what Duat looks like? Look at Duat. Look at Duat and then look at Oshawott and tell me what drugs they were on when they decided that evolution.
Yeah, they made mistakes. It's pretty dumb. It's bad. Yeah,
and Duat is so sick. Like, Duat is probably the best mid-evolution, bar none. So, like, I don't care about any other mid-evolution out on the level of Duat. But like, I don't know, man. They dropped the ball. They dropped the ball hard with Samurott.
So for our last question for this topic, Mega Man asks, what do you think will be the best new feature in Legends Arceus? And what do you think the biggest complaint the community will have with Legend Arceus is?
I think the biggest complaint the community will have will be a rock. It'll be, hey, look at the textures on this rock. I spent 12 hours straight in Blender on my MacBook Pro, and I made a better rock than this.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what's gonna happen.
This is good happening. Yeah. I mean, I think if kind of what we've been afraid of is right, then I think maybe just like the biggest complaint will be something more in terms of like, oh, well, this wasn't everything I hoped.
This
that it would
game
be,
wasn't Breath of
kind
the
of a
Wild.
thing. Yeah, right, exactly. Hopefully that's not the case. But that's, I could see that being a thing. Otherwise, yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be graphics stuff. Like, which
I think it's going to be
easy enough,
fair. It's going to be kind of like the wild area. Because I remember when we first learned about the wild area,
Mhm.
and I went on Wolf Den Live back when it was still Wolf Den Live. And I was like, this is not like the wild area is going to be a thing. Like, this is not going to be an open world Pokemon game. You're not going to be able to control cameras everywhere. It's just going to be in the wild area. And everybody was like, you're an idiot. And I was like, all right.
Yeah.
And people were mad that that was not the case. And I'm like, yo, like, hey man, tried to help you temper your expectations. But
Yep, your expectations.
yeah, you did.
And on the other side, though, what do you think? He asked, what do you think will be the best new feature of Legends Arceus?
I think the best new feature will be the open world. I don't think that they'll stick the landing, but I think it will be like good enough for Pokemon. Just like I think the best feature in, well, except for the Dynamax adventures, those are dope. The best feature in Sword and Shield was the wild area. Could be better, but it's good enough.
Yep.
Dodge roll.
I'm
like depending on what the boss battles are like, maybe the boss battles.
Yeah. I'm hoping that it's gonna be just the like I mean, this will be, besides Pokemon Snap, I guess this will be the game that could most like what's the word I'm looking for? Just like inundate you in the game. That's not the right word, but you know what I mean.
Ingratiate.
Yeah, sure. Immerse you. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, immerse. Yeah, I mean that was either one.
Coming in clutch. Like the immersion could definitely be the best in this game than it has been in a long time, and that's immersion's probably overrated a little bit, I'd say, but at the same time, it's nice.
Yeah, immersion is like subjective.
You got it. Yeah,
there's people that get immersed in the original Pokemon game.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's funny because I think it's less about graphics and all that kind of stuff. I think it's more about a certain kind of consistency of world, and like not doing it's more like, I feel like you could immerse yourself in anything. It's how many things there are that break the immersion, that ruin it.
It's the amount of times the game tells you no.
Right.
Like, that's why Breath of the Wild is like one of the best examples of an immersive game, because the game almost never tells you no.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh well, all right, well, you did that, so this happened.
Yeah. I mean, it's at worst it tells you like, well, maybe not do that again.
Like, yeah, exactly. It's like, see, I let you do it. Look what happened. Look what happened to you.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go. All right, that's Pokemon Legends Arceus. We talked about it. We did. We'll see. A couple weeks.
We shall see.
And we also may see.
Hold on, wait. We got to do this. What do we think? Metacritic scores. What do we think?
Oof.
I'm thinking low 80s.
Yeah, I was gonna say like 82. Which I mean still would be high for a Pokemon game. It could.
I think that if they stick the landing, low 80s. Like best case scenario for what this game looks like, it is low 80s. If it's not good at what it is trying to be, I could see low 70s as well.
I mean, but worst case scenario, I could see high like a 68.
I mean, that's like doomsday scenario. I
think that's also
Pokemon releases don't really get that,
right. I'm in that. I'm also accounting for people being overly just disappointed and letting that factor in.
True.
Again, we'll see. But yeah,
we'll see. But I'm
82 is my like optimistic.
Yeah, I'm going to stake my claim at low 80s. 84 at the highest.
Yep. All right, good stuff.
No shot it's a game of the year game. It might be my game of the year, but no shot is getting nominated for Game of the Year.
Yeah, no.
At the Game Awards. Like,
I mean, especially with some
zero
games that are coming
chances
out
of
next
that.
year and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even unrelated to that, like, yeah. I mean, it could, like, best family game, it could definitely show up in there. But we'll see.
Well, the Mystery Dungeon games, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, those aren't Mystery Dungeon aren't mainline, like, big Pokemon releases. Most of them aren't even developed by a company that is owned by Nintendo or Pokemon Company.
That's true.
I think Spike Chunsoft develops most, or has developed most of them.
I think that is correct.
But yeah, that's my guess. Low 80s.
It's a good guess. And just like that, we will also guess at what this twist could be for Mario Kart 9 that is apparently in development.
You know what I'm sick of? I'm sick of everybody guessing that the new twist will be, I think it's going to be a Super Smash Brothers Mario Kart. And the entire thing that they are basing this off of is the fact that Mario Kart 8 on the Switch has freaking Inkling and the Animal Crossing characters and Link, where it's like, oh shoot, Boy Zelda's in the game. That means they're opening it up to everybody, man. They're putting everybody in the game. Fox McCloud, freaking Pikmin, not even Olimar, just the Pikmin that's going to drive. It's going to be 3 Pikmin in a trench coat driving around in the cart. That being the like main twist, I think is dumb. Like, I think that they might put more Nintendo characters in it, but I highly doubt that will be like, they're not going to turn Mario Kart into Nintendo Kart. That would be the stupidest thing that they could possibly do. Like,
and even if they do
Mario Kart Nintendo Kart, they are killing their brand, because Mario Kart is more valuable as a brand than Mario is. Like, Mario Kart games sell big.
Yep. And even if that is the twist, like, then I wouldn't be disappointed in the people guessing it. I'd be disappointed in Nintendo for it.
Yeah, for doing it. Yeah.
Just, even if they still call it Mario Kart, but it's like the Smash Bros of whatever. Like, that's
everyone
in and of itself.
It would be so stupid. It would be so dumb. I highly doubt it.
It's not like, you know, the whole point of Mario Kart is gameplay and stuff. And those kinds of things, like, cool, I get to play as Link, is fun for when you get to pick your character and, you know, various other parts. But like, if the core gameplay isn't, I mean, the core gameplay is just good regardless. Like, even if they didn't change that much and it's just new tracks and stuff like that, it will still be a phenomenal game. Don't get me wrong. But
the thing about Mario Kart is I couldn't care less about what character I am in Mario Kart. Maybe that's just me, but I don't care, because it almost doesn't matter at all. You know, like Smash Brothers, I care a lot, because Sakurai does so much of a better job at you playing as that character. Like, Boy Zelda says "say ah" sometimes, you know, like you do a trick, he points his sword up in there, like.
I mean, I feel Double Dash did a good job of different characters had special items,
like the different
whatever
specials, but even then it doesn't feel like you're playing as that character, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
and because some of them didn't even make sense or anything.
Exactly. So it's like, I just don't care what character I am in Mario Kart. It's like I care more about what character I am in Mario Party, because at least then my character moves like my character. Like, I don't even see my character half the time in Mario Kart. I'm looking at the bike or the car or what, you know, like, I don't care what character I am. So like, for that to be their like gimmick, they're like, buy our new game, you don't got to play Mario Kart 8 anymore, is very stupid. Like, that's very dumb.
Before we keep going, I'll go ahead and give the context of this. I mean, most people probably know at this point, but it's just that Dr. Sirkin Toto, who's an industry analyst, and who is, you know, credible guy generally, said that he's aware. I'm aware Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is still selling very well on the Nintendo Switch. Mario Kart 9 is in active development and comes with a new twist, and Nintendo could tease it this year. And then Toto also believes that in 2022 we could see another mobile take on classic Nintendo IP. He says, on mobile, Nintendo has been very silent since Mario Kart Tour's launch in 2019. But I think 2022 is when we will see an established IP arriving on smart devices again.
They just announced it. I mean, they just released a mobile game like 3 months ago. What is he talking about?
I
mean, they didn't develop it, to be fair. They didn't develop Pikmin Bloom. Niantic did, but it's still their game.
So the 2 questions on Mario Kart 9. Number 1, because I also, even if I didn't think it was like in active development, it's coming eventually. So cool. You know, that's not out of the question. So the 2 questions. Number 1, what do we think the twist is? Number two, do we think we will see it at all? I don't think it'll release this year. Or I mean, do we think we'll see it or that it'll release this year?
I think we might see it this year. I don't think there's any chance that it releases this year. Why?
Yeah. Right.
What do we need that for? I think that like the fact that they haven't released a Mario Kart game until now says that they only release a Mario Kart game when they feel like they need to, and they do not need to right now. So it's, I think next year I could see them like dropping it as their holiday game if they don't have another holiday game.
Yep.
I could even see them pushing it. I could see it being a Pikmin 4 situation, but like the opposite end of the spectrum, where Pikmin 4 is like, this game's not going to do that well, but like Miyamoto wants to make it, and he likes that franchise, and we really like him a lot, so he can make what he wants, but we only want to put it out when we think it's going to do well. You know, I think Mario Kart is that's their like break the glass win. That's the big red button, you know?
Yeah. I think, for me, I definitely don't see it coming out this year. And
unicycles.
Alex said bicycles. Inda said unicycles. Alex said you got to pedal with a Joy-Con. Checks out. There you go.
I could see it being some sort of like, because we can go through the gimmicks of the past games. There's no real gimmicks of Mario Kart 64, right? Or the original, like just the original, just the original that existed. Yeah. Mario Kart 64 is actual, it's real 3D. The handheld ones, they're handheld ones, I guess. I don't know. Mario Kart 7 did have the glider and the going underwater.
Mario Kart DS has the like missions or that kind of thing.
Yeah, and Double Dash, obviously. Double Dash.
Yeah.
Game's overrated. But the one thing immediately I've talked about, I think we talked about it on stream. Maybe we didn't talk about it on stream, probably just a Discord call, but I don't know. We talked about it at one point that it was like a lot of people like Double Dash, and like the one thing that we agree with, where it's like, oh yeah, this is the best thing about this game, is the ability to switch the items back and forth. The controlling the cart with the two people, it feels like garbage. Like Mario Kart 8 so far is the best feeling Mario Kart game.
Oh, for sure.
Like, and it's not close to close. Because Wii is fun, but Wii also has an element of like, I feel like my steering is like too sensitive, you know. And like I said, like Mario Kart Double Dash feels like you're on I don't know if you ever been to Hershey Park and been on this ride called the Crazy Mouse. It feels like that. Sure. It feels like that. Have you actually been, or are you being facetious?
No, there's a bunch of, I haven't been to the one at Hershey Park, but they make that same kind of ride a bunch of different places. It's so like a style of ride, apparently. Yeah, it's like a roller coaster that's like almost like a train more than anything. And it's like the gimmick is that when it makes turns, it like tilts a little bit. It feels like you're about to fall off the ride. That's what it feels like to drive in Mario Kart Double Dash. Yeah. No, I feel that for sure. It's I remember a friend of mine I was having a bunch of friends coming over for a birthday party or something like that, I think, when I was in high school. And I was like, we're going to play Mario Kart. It's going to be great. And my friend was like, I am the king of Mario Kart. And I was like, all right, okay, cool. And I was like, I'm pretty good at Mario Kart, but he was like, I'm the king of Mario Kart. So then he came over, he brought his own controller with him and everything. And he had gotten really used to Mario Kart Wii, and he was probably really good at Mario Kart Wii. And Mario Kart Double Dash, not super different.
Yeah, exactly.
And so he did terribly, and everybody just made fun of him for the rest of the night.
See it. The king of losing Mario Kart.
The king of losing Mario Kart. Yeah.
The gimmick, I mean, I've been wanting them to like do CTR.
Yeah, that's like, what I was about to say.
Do an adventure mode, but I kind of doubt it. I don't think they're going to do that. I don't know. Maybe they'll increase the amount of racers that you can have, because right now it's 12.
I feel like there's got to be
I don't know if it was 12 on Wii U. Was it 12 on Wii U? Or was it 8?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't play it on Wii U.
I played it, but it was almost a decade ago, dude.
I feel like there's got to be some kind of visual element to it. Like I mean, yeah, Double Dash. There's two things. There's the motorcycles in Wii. There's the gliders in 7, and then there's the upside down stuff in Mario Kart 8. So like, I don't know what that would be. Probably bicycles or unicycles, honestly. No, I mean my biggest hope would be that it would be something with an adventure mode or something along those lines, or even like that you could do it co-op, like that it doesn't have to be
I think Mario Kart 8 is 12. I mean, 8 players on Wii U.
Nice.
But hold on, I gotta double check because I don't know if they put that it's because I just looked at it on the store page on the Nintendo website, and it says that it's 8 players. So let me see if they say that it's 12 players for this game. Yep. So 8 players. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they'll go up to 16 for this game.
Could be.
But I don't know if that would be the main gimmick. It could just be like an additional thing that they put on. The box.
I mean, and there's probably several things like that, like probably, like a new battle mode or like something else along those lines. Off the top of my head, I honestly don't have that many great ideas. But
Mario Kart's not the type of game that's like, when I play it, I'm like, man, this game could really use this.
Yeah, right.
Kart. I just
maybe
the new core. I mean, a lot of people want them to do like a course creator, like that's an easy thing that they could do.
You can bump into other people's cars or punch other people's cars and then board their cars, and then they have to just run around. That's
I think that was like something that they also did in Crash on the PlayStation.
Is it really?
Game. Yeah. Just still ideas from Crash Team Racing, dude. It's the only good Crash Bandicoot game. What is I don't even remember what the original one's called. I think it is called. No, it's Crash something else. Still my Nation Racers. Yeah, I mean, it's basically the same thing without Crash Bandicoot. Just take their game. That's, just do that.
There it is. Well, we'll see. In any case, Mario Kart 9 is hopefully being worked on, and we'll get eventually.
And I will play Mario Kart on a relative normal basis compared to Mario Kart 8, which I'd never play.
Yeah.
I refuse. There's so many people who's like, we should play Mario Kart. And I'm like, no, it is not 2014 anymore. I refuse to play this video game.
It kind of took me going, because I was a little bit burnt out on it just because of the way I played it or whatever. Until I went back recently and played it a little bit with Ashley. And I was like, man, I wouldn't mind a Mario Kart 9.
Let's all play Chocobo GP.
Honestly, Chocobo GP looks pretty good for a kart racer, not gonna lie. If I cared at all about Final Fantasy,
doesn't even care enough about it to call it the right name. Hate to see
then that would help. But but one thing we don't particularly care for is E3. For specific
Let
reasons.
It burn.
And this year, E3 is confirmed to be digital only. It seems like it might be on its way out, from what we can tell. So we've talked about this kind of thing before, so some of this will be rehashed. But
the first sign of it not happening before, we were like, well, this is it's going to die. Like, this is the first day of the end of its life. People are like, no, I'll be back after COVID. They're just skipping this year. They'll be back. Like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yep. I think so. Yeah, Alex said, and I'm not sure about this, not even confirmed to be digital only. I thought just confirmed not to be happening in person. I think that is so far the case, is that this article is assuming it's confirmed digital only.
Their statement that they gave to GamesBeat, they said, due to the ongoing health risks surrounding COVID-19 and its potential impact on the safety of exhibitors and attendees, it's interesting they put exhibitors first. E3 will not be held in person in 2022. We are nonetheless excited about the future of E3 and look forward to announcing more details soon. So it doesn't. So
technically, it could just not be.
It could just not.
Yeah. So I think here's the thing: is if in a perfect world, E3 goes away, but the things to replace it are some way for, I think the industry, the people in the industry kind of thing, having places to go to be able to meet each other and make connections and network and that kind of stuff, that's valuable,
right?
Somewhere,
and those
in
things
some regard,
already exist. It's already like this whole like club thing, where it's like E3 has this clout within the industry, so that's where everybody goes. But if E3 is gone, the next biggest thing will become the thing with the clout that everybody goes to. Like PAX could easily become E3.
Yeah.
Very, very easily.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, even within like content creators world, like Too Many Games, I feel like has
Yeah.
kind of become that, just like people that's like, oh, it's a fun place to see my friends or whatever. And then as soon as that becomes a place that people go, then the people that need to go to those places to make connections or whatever are just going to go to those places.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
like E3 is E3 because E3 is E3.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing inherently special about E3 other than the
it's been the place that did
reputation
so
that it's built for itself, and that's it. But once it's gone, it's gone. Like like what are they? People are just like, oh, E3 is gone. I guess we're never gonna network ever again. And like, do people actually think that there has not been any networking happen between the end of 2019 and now? There have been entire careers made with people that have millions upon millions of followers and work with all types of brands. And they're not going to E3 to build these connections. Like, it's just like, y'all got to get past tradition. Like, just because it's how things have always been done doesn't mean it's the only way that things can be done.
Yeah. And I mean, I think it's the kind of thing where, like, when there's no more hope, when E3 dies out, then people will make a concerted effort to make those things have a higher priority somewhere else.
Something like a better thing, or to just make things that we already have better. You know?
Specifically, if anybody's going to make Summer Games Fest be better, that would be nice, because so far kind of garbage as well. But just in the boring way, not in the like bad way, just like, so come on.
And I think even like, because whenever I talk about, and it's been happening less and less every year, whenever I talk about E3 just needing to die, people are like, but I love E3. It's a collective celebration of video games. No, it's not. No, it's not. Literally, E3 is just a freaking pissing contest of like, the console I like better had a better E3 than your console. That's not a celebration. That's just fanboy wars. Like, you're just advertising to people to crap on other people for liking the thing that you don't.
I mean, it's like Disney Plus Day isn't a celebration of Disney Plus. It's just a bunch of ads for Disney Plus stuff, and it's fun to see it because it's fun to see all those things in the same way that it's fun to watch E3 and stuff, because it's fun to watch all the game trailers. But yeah, I think it's just like, it's definitely not this, super,
it's not, it's kumbaya for gamers.
Exactly.
Dude. Everybody, holding hands and kissing and stuff, dude. It's great. Nah, everybody's at each other's throats during E3. And even us who try to not, be toxic about things that we don't like, we're still like, I could have not watched that one. And that always happens during E3. There's like usually 2 conferences that are worth watching, and that is because E3 is not sustainable for developers. And in fact, I'd argue that E3, like, as a thing of like this like checkpoint that everybody needs to make their games for, makes games worse.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I could see how the thing that's most beneficial from it probably is networking. Live in person. Well, networking, obviously, but then also like having the demos. I could see that be something that's nice like beneficial for the industry, because it's something where like you can show off the progress in games or something like that, but only like do like Nintendo in 2015 or 2016 or whatever it was, when they only had Breath of the Wild and that was it. And it's like, it's just Breath of the Wild, just come and check out Breath of the Wild. And it's just one game, and that's not a big deal. But then also having to do a whole 40-minute press conference or, direct kind of a thing for every developer, like it's too much. At that point, it becomes the same kind of problem as Game Freak has, as Pokemon has, where it's like, we can't get out a fantastic Pokemon game every 3 years because it's just not sustainable. So yeah, like I think it would be good if, somebody kind of stepped up and took accountability for each of the avenues of the aspects of the different thing. But in and of itself, it's just E3 is not the best place for all those things anymore.
Also, garbage company.
Yeah, right.
Garbage company, leaking people's information, and then shrug. I don't know what to tell you, man. Sucks that happened. We're not going to insure anybody for fraud protection or anything like that. Just my bad. Didn't mean to put all your sensitive information in a plain text document. Oops.
Yeah. I mean, honestly,
we're just a multi-million dollar company. We just charge millions of dollars for 80 by 80 square feet, if that, booths, and we charge you a few $100,000 extra for carpet. We're not making enough money to secure the information of our the people that are coming to our event. We can't do that, dude.
That sounds like work.
We can't.
No one wants to
do work. We're a small outfit, dude. We keep it lean and mean out of here.
So yeah, there we go. I guess we'll see what happens with all that. But I mean, personally, as long as Nintendo gives us some information around June time, I am pleased as punch. Yes. So you know what I mean? Like,
I wish that Nintendo could just do a Nintendo Direct during that time.
Yeah.
Like they literally already do, it's almost like imagine. E3 means nothing because like everybody now has like a Nintendo Direct equivalent.
It would not be that hard. Like, to be perfectly honest, I think, it's, you would have to assume that all these companies are okay to cross talk and stuff, which I'm sure they are if they really wanted to. But for the 10 companies that do press conferences or whatever, like the 20, just be like, hey, everybody, just going to get a meeting together with the 20 of us. Like, if you guys want to do a press conference, and then 10 of them will be like, yeah, I'll do it.
That.
And then
they don't have to do it. They don't. But they could literally just be like, all right, man, E3's gone. You know what? Let's do this instead. Let's make the whole year announcements instead. Oh, you're going to have announcements ready and have a good press conference. If your press conference is in August, sick. Square Enix, you're in August. Oh, Nintendo, you're going to have your games ready by June, sick. You're in June. Sega, you work in April? Nice. We're going to have you in April. Instead of everybody targeting June, and then 70% of everything that's shown sucks, and then the other 30% of stuff is like, this was dope. I'm so glad that we had this. So like,
yeah, it is bittersweet because there is something to be said for having all, like, just the fun of all of it happening at once or whatever. But it ends up being that a bunch of it just isn't fun anyway. So like, why bother? Yeah. So that's that. And similar to that, Shigeru Omori wants to create Pokemon games that the gamers desire, as said by mynintendonews.com. That was my transition into this news topic. Here we go. Here, you might have read this more than I did.
Inda said, I think people are more likely to go under the radar, though, for some of them, if it's not all tied into a short period. I disagree. I think that the way that the news cycle works now is the biggest thing that happens is the biggest thing on the internet for that day, if not longer than that day. And if the industry agrees, freaking March is the month that Bethesda announces their stuff, the industry is going to pay attention to that. And that is going to be all you see on IGN, all you see on GameSpot, all you see on all the gaming outlets.
Yeah. I mean, for what it's worth, it's the whole thing of like the individual announcements and tweets for Nintendo games from in 2020 was technically a more practical and better approach than full-on Nintendo Directs, in that every game got their time in the light. And so like we cared about games that normally would be one of the ones that you'd be like, oh yeah, that was in that Direct. I guess I forgot about that. Yeah. But then again, I'm personally glad that they did it. They went back to Nintendo Directs because they're more fun for me. But as far as like, it's spreading things out, like there is something he said for, things that normally would fall under the radar end up, or more things, you can only remember so many things from E3 in general. So,
the things that stick out are the things that would have stuck out anyway.
Yeah. So it's a thing. But yeah. All right, Pokemon something or others. I don't know about this thing. I didn't read any of it.
So the main thing that I saw is, how like people will take a long blurb and then they'll make like news articles out of that. individual thing. The main like tidbit that everybody grasped onto was the thing with Pokemon Company basically saying that, or Game Freak saying that they want to make games that gamers want. To everybody, which is like, I feel like should have been obvious to people that obviously they want to make things that people want to play, but they're trying to also make a game that they want to make at the same time.
Right.
And that's the gist of a lot of what they were saying, where it's like we try to balance out like the type of stuff, like the things that we're passionate about and that we want to do with the requests and stuff that fans make. And on top of that, you got to balance out like, what do Pokemon fans want?
Yeah.
Because there are many Pokemon fans, and most of them want, like, if you sit two Pokemon fans down, you're very likely to have two very different things that they want. You know, there's like, it could be, you could grab two Pokemon fans, and those two Pokemon fans are me and Justin. You know, Justin does not want what I want. Justin wants them to turn Pokemon, or, you know, like Justin is like up for whatever as long as it's good. But for the most part, like if he had it his way, Pokemon would stay a turn-based RPG for the rest of all time. And it would just be like Dragon Quest, how Dragon Quest for a long time, they're the last bastion of turn-based RPGs until they weren't. Until they were like, oh shoot, hold on, people don't want these even anymore. And even they, with their next game, are talking about making an action RPG. But anyway, you know, there's like, Pokemon fans just want everything because there's so many of them. So how do you make what the fans want if the fans want everything? You know, so they're trying to balance that with what they want to make, and that's the gist of the article of like, we want to make what you want us to make.
Yep. I mean, honestly, Inda said make everything. I think with all the spinoffs and stuff, or, you know, having Legends and also Let's Go Pikachu and all that stuff, like, they kind of doing it, you know, that's seems to be a little bit the way that it's going. Like, but it's not particularly sustainable or anything like that. But also the nice thing about the spinoffs is, I guess, it kind of indoctrinates people into certain things, or not but like introduces people into certain things, or like eases them in, I guess, otherwise, so that whenever they do make certain sweeping changes in the mainline thing, most people are already kind of on board. He's like, oh yeah, I remember that from Legends Arceus.
Yeah, it's like
whatever else.
It's like the dog food situation of like putting the pill and peanut butter.
Yeah,
like that's what it is. Like before Let's Go, there were so many Pokemon fans like, I never want overworld encounters that will ruin shiny content, blah blah blah.
I was literally just about to say, like, playing through Shining Pearl with not overworld Pokemon, I'm already like, nope, please
terrible.
Go back. Like,
it's
don't
super
like
garbage.
And I will say it's different from, because like I'm more okay with random encounters in regular, like in Octopath Traveler or whatever. I still prefer overworld ones, like Bravely Default 2 has overworld monsters and stuff like that. I prefer that. It was fine in Octopath Traveler, but because it didn't have the Pokemon, like, are you gonna catch it? Are you gonna whatever? Is this gonna be something you haven't seen before? Like, that thing feels way better overworlds. You know, there it is.
Feeling like you're forced to do something is not fun ever.
Yes,
it's never fun. So like running into a Pokemon just because you ran into a Pokemon where they could, in the real world, like if you imagine Pokemon literally in any context outside of the video games with the random encounters, they're always going to see the Zubat before they run into the Zubat. So they can try to avoid the Zubat before they run into the Zubat. But in the video games, it's just, you walk two spots in the grass and it's like, oh, who shoot, an Onyx appeared in front of me. I didn't see that until just now. Like, it's like, all right.
It's very silly. So yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely things that they can do that'll appease everybody, but that's also, there's a lot of things that they can't.
Yes.
That's interesting though.
But yeah, Game Freak, you know, they gotta make what they gotta make. And hopefully they come to the conclusion that it's like, okay, people want this type of game, or like this is the I think the general consensus, most people, what they do want, like I think is mostly agreed upon on the internet, is that they do want the like Breath of the Wild equivalent of like blow everything up and make the game what it should be thematically. Like don't shoot for the gameplay loop that you already have. Make a gameplay loop based on what the game is thematically.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense.
Make a game about the Pokemon world. Don't make a
Mhm.
game that you think is a Pokemon game, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of JRPGs and teams that make them, the team Asano, I think is their name, pretty sure,
Better than
who
me.
made Bravely Default and also Octopath Traveler and is making Triangle Strategy, announced that or mentioned that they're going to be announcing multiple games this year and maybe even releasing multiple games. It's in Japanese, so I don't speak that language. But here's what their tweet says: Happy New Year! I'm starting work today. In addition to the Triangle, we are
I'm
planning
starting
to
work today.
I love it so much. In addition to the Triangle, we are planning to announce and release multiple titles this year. Please pay attention. And thank you for your many letters regarding the year-end and New Year holidays. MM. The whole team will continue to do their best.
I like seeing
Heartwarming.
the exclamation points because I feel like that's probably please pay attention with the exclamation point.
Yeah, probably.
I don't even have the translation pulled up. I just see the Japanese tweet.
I just love the in addition to the Triangle. Yeah. So yeah, in any case, we don't know what all this is going to be. I'm excited about this. Some guesses off the bat are theoretically they could do a port
2-2.
I mean, yeah, honestly, I was going to say they could easily port. I don't know about easily, but theoretically, they could certainly port Bravely Default and Bravely Second.
Bravely Second too. Wait, didn't they already do that? No, wait. No, they did. It's Bravely that. No, that's the thing that's dumb is that they did Bravely Default and then they did Bravely Second and then they did Bravely Default 2. And it's like, what? I thought that was Bravely Second.
Yeah.
And so 2D everything. I hate it. I hate it.
I saw Xeon was like they could make Golden Sun, and that'd be
I mean, they could.
There's three. Okay, I'm gonna make a Golden Sun video again at some point, but there's three directions that I can see Golden Sun going in on a graphics level. Here's them. Number one,
here's them.
It could do the like safest option, which is still top down but 3D models kind of a thing where it's like
Link's Awakening.
Yeah, or not even Link's Awakening like so much. It's just like it's just like it's an art style and it's top down and you do things, that sort of thing. Like I can't even describe it particularly well because it's not very interesting. It's not the direction that I would ideally choose. So that's one option. It's just like kind of continuation of where they were already going. Except for here's the caveat is that when we look back, and the reason that other people have said, and I at one point said that they should do the HD 2D style for Golden Sun, is that the games on the Game Boy Advance look so good, but they looked fantastic for Game Boy Advance games, especially, which means it's a series historically that's been kind of ahead of the curve technologically. And so that's something that I would hope that would continue. So option number two is they do the HD 2D kind of a thing and kind of like bring it back to its roots, but would be a little bit weird because like graphically speaking, they moved past that for Dark Dawn. So going back to it, they could do it. So, but the third option that I would kind of hope is like legitimately pushing the boundaries and going full on like Dragon Quest 11 kind of thing and like 3D RPG sort of thing. I don't know what exactly that would mean for puzzles, but I think they could still make it work fine. I mean, Breath of the Wild has plenty of puzzles and stuff like that, and so I don't know, we see. But
it's another one of those situations where it's like instead of designing puzzles that are like the puzzles from previous games, design puzzles, and that becomes the new normal for those games where it's like, we're in the third dimension now, so what are interesting puzzles that we can make in the third dimension that fit into this world?
I mean, and the thing is, like, even the puzzles that they had in the older games have like it's more rote physics and chemistry kinds of things where like part of the puzzles a lot of times was like there's a puddle and you have to use frost and it builds like a frost cylinder that you can like jump across or whatever or it lifts up a thing or something along those lines. So like they could go balls to the wall and just do like Breath of the Wild, like have a chemistry engine and have all those kinds of things as within the world, and still the gameplay would be turn-based combat and stuff. But as far as like puzzles and stuff go, it's much more in the Breath of the Wild kind of physics engine, chemistry engine kind of stuff. And again, would be pushing the boundaries a little bit more in terms of technology and all that stuff. So I don't know, could be interesting. I think it's easy to see it in context of the limitations that it had in its time. And now we're just so far removed from that. The thing is, I don't know if they would do that stuff, because for exactly those reasons where it's like, oh, it's so different from what it used to be. But we can hope.
It has to be different from what it used to be, because the last game that they made was what, 10 years ago?
Yeah, more. Well, yeah, 12 years ago, I think at this point. I think it was 2010 that it came out on the DS.
And it's not Pokemon Snap,
2010.
It's not the type of game that millions of people
right
are waiting for.
Mm-hmm.
So they need to win over more people than they are like,
yep,
making good for. It's like, oh man, Parker's been wanting this for 12 years, and it's like, that's cool, you're gonna buy it anyway. But like, to make it a successful thing, they need to make other people want it to.
Exactly.
So it has to change.
It's true. And there you go. And Xeon and Alec. Exactly.
True.
To close up, we've got a couple questions from Q&A. A bunch of them we already pulled to talk about earlier in the show. So there's just a couple here. But here we go from Twitter. Mega Man says, why is apple juice a minimum of A tier, and why is AJ wrong? And I have an answer for this. Here's the thing. Both of you are, I think, right for the following reason. Apple juice in America its minimum is way below A tier for sure.
A tier is not even in the conversation. Like, so I'm mad if people put it in C. Like, the apple juice sucks.
Yeah. So, but
no
here's the
reason
thing:
to drink apple juice.
when you think apple juice, do you think like Mott's apple juice or that kind of thing?
Yes.
Okay, and that's exactly.
I think like apple cider is a different thing. Like, that's so different.
Even. And I don't know what it's like in New Zealand. I haven't been to New Zealand. I've never lived there. When I lived in Belgium, the apple juice, just the grocery store brands, like Walmart brand apple juice kind of thing, was a mixture of red and green apples. So it was like more sour. It was a lot less like from concentrate. I'm sure it was technically from concentrate or whatever, but it just like in and of itself, the worst apple juice you could get was amazing, just was really good. And then past that, you could get like fresh apple juice that's way better. Inda asks, do you have cloudy apple juice there? So
I don't know what that is.
We have apple juice here that's way better. That's not even considered apple cider. That's just like fresher apple juice, and it's super, super good. But so all that to say, I think the thing is that it's possible that Mega Man's worst apple juice in New Zealand is that much better than like some of the even mid-tier ones.
But what I'm saying is counterpoint. Every other juice, the crappiest version of that juice is better significantly, like tiers better than the crappiest version of apple juice. And the best like apple cider that I've ever had is not that much better than any version of any other juice. So like, by that logic is why I'm saying apple juice is mid. Like if the best and worst versions is not as good as the best and worst versions of the things that are higher than it, I can't put apple juice up there, man.
I mean, I guess also though, arguably the worst versions of orange juice that we have here, for example, might be the opposite thing, where like our worst orange juice,
better because we have Florida.
Right, exactly. Whereas like somewhere else, it's like, well, their worst orange juice is garbage, something like that. So now I totally see where you're coming from. Because I agree. Mott's, for example, is just garbage. Like I just wouldn't. But I've had like probably one of the best things that I've ever drank was just like we stumbled upon an apple orchard somewhere and they sold apple juice, and it was so good. It was like the best thing ever. And there it is. But yeah, I agree with both of you for theoretically.
That's such a Parker thing, dude. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. Say the F word. No, but
Man.
speaking of that, we do hold on. After Q&A, we got to get into that. That's related. That's related.
Oh, I'm curious.
That's related. Because we
So
said we were going to talk about Spider-Man, the Spider-Man thing that I'm
yeah.
upset about. That's
Yes.
related. We'll get to
So, okay, two more questions. Ethan asked, would you rather Pokemon crossover with Marvel or DC?
I mean, neither, but Marvel, because I like more Marvel things than I like DC things.
Yeah,
I used to like DC more, but I kind of even didn't do that. Like I like Static Shock, and Static Shock is only kind of DC. But
yeah, I feel like DC has just not been done justice much at all, probably.
Well, justice. Oh, I get it.
Yeah, it's, like I've been very influenced by most of what I know about either of the things is from their cinematic universes, and the MCU, it's just fun,
Yeah. And see, the thing is, like, it used to be like DC had better movies because like Dark Knight and all that crap. And it had better games because there were like more games or whatever. But now Marvel is just like better in both of those things.
Yep.
And like the only thing that I hear people say, like the comics is always debatable because at that point it's like what team are you on? The animated
both have
movies,
really good and really bad runs.
I hear the animated movies are better for DC. That I do still hear pretty often. But everything else, Marvel just, they're just better. You got better video games. Like Spider-Man is way, 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 way better than the best Batman game. It's not even close. The Spider-Man PS4 games are significantly better. And I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, I definitely Pokemon crossover with specifically Batman is what I'm going for. Aquaman, maybe even.
Aquaman, you know what? Aquaman makes sense. I don't know if he could talk to water Pokemon though. I don't know if that transfers over,
That's true. Alex said Marvel has X-Men, so they win. Comics, not movies. Those are bad.
True, the X-Men movies are bad.
I have not gone back to watch them, so they still, in my mind, occupy a those are great movies space. Well, the original three.
But okay, all right.
It's been a while.
I think that most of the old comic book movies are not good. Even though the early ones that people are like, and this doesn't really have anything to do with what I was talking about before.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're good. I think they're super campy and they're not good.
We, in preparation for No Way Home, we watched Spider-Man 2, which is claimed as I've seen it plenty of times before.
Spider-Man movie ever. It sucks. It doesn't suck. It doesn't suck.
It's fine. It's fun and all that stuff. But it's so laughable in so many places, and I'm sure that's the point in a lot of ways. But also there were times where it was not the point, and it just it's a thing of its time, and that's fine. Yeah. Yeah, so
and I hate that saying. I hate that. I hate when people say that so much.
Yeah,
did you know what else they say that about? Racism. The whole thing of man, this used to suck back then, but we didn't know that it sucked back then, so it didn't suck. That's not true. Yeah. You just didn't know that it was bad yet. Trev was dying on this hill that Ocarina of Time was not bad for so long, and then he played the game and was like, "Nah, man, this game sucks." I'm like, "Yo," oh my god, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially, I think the thing with a lot of those games, especially Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, whatever, any game spectacle is such a big thing, and that's experiencing the world for the first time. There are things where as soon as that isn't new anymore, it has to live and die by its gameplay, and people are still figuring stuff out over there, and that's fine. And it's and then nostalgia just does more heavy lifting than we expected to.
The thing is, I would not be as mad about that. It was a thing of its time anecdote if we just left it in its time. That anecdote does not work for now. It doesn't make the game better. It just is an excuse for why the game is bad.
Yeah, I think it's just in general fairly nuanced and stuff, but I'm more than happy to if somebody asked me like, hey, what 3D Mario game should I start out on now? There's no way I would tell them Mario 64. I love playing Mario 64. I would tell them Mario Odyssey 100% of the time. And then I'd probably maybe even tell them Mario Sunshine X, because I feel like that one ends up holding up fairly well. And
I truly think that the All-Star Mario 3D All-Stars, that game, the way that they were released is the order that they are in terms of design. They got better at making Mario games the further that they got. Because Sunshine is better than 64. There's like, and also people have the whole like the gripes with the like floodless levels, but on the whole, it is designed better than Mario 64, and Galaxy is designed better than Sunshine.
And Galaxy 2, in my opinion,
is better than Galaxy.
Way better than Galaxy. Yes. And also, people are like, but Galaxy has a hub world and stuff. It's a bad hub world. Yep. To be perfectly honest, like of the hub worlds, like Delfino Plaza, great. Peach's Castle, a really good hub world. It has puzzles in and of itself and stuff like that. I think honestly, the little ship in Galaxy 2 is a better non-hub world than the actual hub world in Galaxy. Hot take or whatever.
So for context for audio listeners or whatever, Trev said Galaxy is so mid, and I replied and I said, you're mid.
There it is. Games, all right, last question. Mark Erickson asks, are you finally releasing Fanatics 5 this year?
Spoilers. We're not doing that.
That's true.
Kind of.
Yeah.
We're not doing that, but we're not.
Exactly. Yep.
You know what I mean?
It'll be a fun time. And that's all. Yeah. Basically, I'll say this much. There's a reason we haven't put up any videos yet. Since we stopped putting them up.
That is true.
It's not. Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
Yes.
That's it. All right. Well, with that's the end of the podcast, except for the Marvel
segment, dude.
So
the Marvel
everybody,
are we branding it now?
I guess. So if you spoilers and stuff for anybody who wants spoilers not to happen. But otherwise, here we go.
Oh wait, can we use the minute? No, we can use the minute now. We won't get sued because Nintendo doesn't use it anymore. Rip, hate to see it.
True.
I haven't seen it, so I'll see everyone. That's crazy. Go see it. Go watch it right now.
Yep. It's a fun time.
All right, everybody that didn't see the movie, that wants to see the movie, goodbye.
Yep. Also, I mean, do you have any pertinent thoughts on Hawkeye? Oh, I have one.
Hawkeye. Didn't we talk? I thought we talked about Hawkeye.
Do we talk about the end of it?
I don't know if we talked.
I think we might have had one episode left.
Oh yeah, because that like the Hawkeye that came out like the week of Christmas or whatever. So no, we didn't.
I'm gonna say this, spoilers or not. I'm gonna tell you this, and I think I would have wanted to know this. It's about here it is. You ready?
It's about what?
It's the post-credit scene.
Oh, okay.
Do not bother.
Yes,
that's all I'll say.
It's very dumb.
It makes it feel like something's gonna happen, and it's not. It's just for the larf. It's not worth it, and I was mad about that. So so even if you haven't seen it yet, just watch it knowing that it sucks and it's not worth anything. All right, that's it. That's all I'll say. Otherwise, Hawkeye, it was a fun time. I don't think any of the shows have like really nailed the final episode of their seasons particularly well, including this one. There were some fun bits in it for sure. But it was kind of like it felt the most Marvel of any of the episodes, probably just kind of somewhat generic and stuff like that.
True.
Not a big deal.
Granted, the last episode of the show was definitely my least favorite episode of the show.
Yeah.
But I think that was probably because like this episode it focused more on what's his name, Clint, more than I care about, because I don't care about Clint at all. I don't care about Clint. Stop showing me him. But everybody else is more interesting in that show than him. But on the whole, it was a good show. I think that, I don't know, if I were to rank them, Loki probably is the best one.
Yep, agreed.
WandaVision.
Yep.
Then this one, I guess. Yeah, probably this one.
Yeah.
Then Falcon and Winter Soldier. Then What If? Because What If? Huge disappointment. Not gonna lie.
I agree with all of that. Yeah. So there it is. Yeah, not a whole lot of thoughts on that, but yeah, man, Spider-Man.
So we're gonna talk about the movie first, or we're gonna talk about what I'm mad about? Yeah. Wait, hold on. Damn. Why is Loki surprising. So low?
I don't know. Yeah.
I'm Alex not mad at anybody.
Wanda, Falcon, Wanda Hawkeye,
first.
Loki.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that.
What If all the way at the bottom? But yeah, interesting. I really liked Loki a lot.
Damn. But yeah, no. We want to talk about the movie overall. We want to talk about what you think.
Go for it.
All right. The thing that pissed me off is that I hate that everybody wants Spider-Man to be miserable so bad. Like, I think that is so stupid that people feel like that's like an imperative narrative device. Like, it is not necessary for Spider-Man's life to suck to have a good Spider-Man story. It's not. I don't care what nobody says. Like, even if that's what they've always done with Spider-Man, that doesn't mean that that's always what they have to do with Spider-Man. I think how the MCU has handled Spider-Man up until this point, and even with the ending, it makes sense. It makes a whole lot of sense for a modern freaking 15-year-old that just got a superpowers that grew up in a world full of superheroes that are celebrities. They're going to think that their life is sick. Like, it doesn't matter if they're broke, because he was still pretty broke, like, even if he had Aunt May and all that stuff, like, he was broke. He had Tony Stark and all that stuff, but it's not like Tony Stark put him up in a mansion. He gave him a good suit, which makes sense when you're see this kid that is a superhero that you're like empathetic about, like, you see him as your son progressively. Like, you're gonna want to make sure that he's like the most prepared that he could possibly be, and they found ways to find conflict in that, and like the fact that he was too OP and that caused problems. But I think the whole thing of like, his life needs to suck and everything needs to be taken away for him for Spider-Man to be an interesting character, I think that's dumb, and it, if anything, makes him less interesting to me, because we've been there, we've done that.
Yeah. No, that's I told you too, like, I didn't even know that it was a conversation topic until you mentioned it, and then since then I've seen it all over the place, but it just wasn't something I was aware of. And it's funny, Ashley and I had very different conclusions coming out of the movie. Like, she was legitimately sad for several days, which, I mean, justified.
It's very sad.
Yeah, it was. Whereas I think I took away technically the wrong thing. Like, my at the end when he decided, I don't know, I took away a glimmer of hope. Like, I think there was technically a glimmer of hope there, but it was like, but I think I like focused on that of like, but there's hope, but I think also Ashley and I have notoriously said that, like, she's the kind that's like, oh, what, 1,000 people or like 1 million people are going to die just if I just save this one person that I really love. Well, sorry, 1 million people. I'm very much like more the opposite kind of thing. Like, justice and whatever, I'm a Gryffindor, I guess. And which is just funny. So it makes sense that that's something where it's like, I would, understand his decision to blah, 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 and whatever.
Yeah, the initial decision makes sense. Also, I mean, it doesn't. It makes sense given the fact that he is a kid and he's like, oh shoot, how do I save this? How do I fix this situation? Oh, here's a solution for that. But I don't like the whole thing of him not, following through on what he said that he was going to do, because he's like, oh man, like, she has a cut. I'm Spider-Man. That's going to put her in danger again. It's like, yeah, true. But like, she's going to be in danger again in this world. People are like, random people are in danger all the time in freaking comic book world. Her being close to you is like going to increase that, sure, but like, she's also close to you, so you're looking out for her more than the average person to begin with.
Yeah, so I'm definitely curious how they do the future things of all of this, and I'm glad that it's staying in the MCU. That was something that obviously was a concern of sorts,
Yep.
so that's fun. Yeah, and also like seeing Andrew Garfield back and Tobey Maguire back and stuff
Yes,
like that, and like hearing
pretty
that
cool.
maybe they're gonna try to get Andrew Garfield to have some more appearances, kind of a thing. Like I
Like do like have his own movies, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be down with him having his own movies again, or even if he just shows up as the Spider-Man that's in, the like Morbius or Venom universe or something
Hmm.
like that or whatever. Like, works for me. Oh yeah, that's what Alec just said. He should be the Spider-Man of their other universe.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I
I'd
agree.
I'd be totally down with that. That'd be fun. And like they can cross back over every once in a while if it makes sense in the grand canon and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
I don't know. Overall, I mean, it's been a while since I saw it, but I thought it was
It's a very
just a
good movie.
really
I
good
like the
movie.
movie a lot. I even, like I said, I like the ending. I like where. Well,
Mhm.
I still, I think I
Uh-huh.
don't agree with the whole thing of him not,
Right.
doing what he told his friends that he would do. Like,
Uh-huh.
I just hate that. Like, because people do a version of that in real life where it's like, oh, I don't want to tell you this because I think that that will hurt you and blah blah blah. And it's like, I much rather you tell me. Like,
Yeah.
let them have some agency in this.
Yeah.
Like, if they understand the risks and they still want you in their life and they still want to be in your life,
Mhm.
like, they should have a say in that.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like this is the same kind of thing as like you wouldn't care one way or another if Waluigi was a character in Smash, but you would be so mad because of the thing of it and the people, the toxic stuff
Mhm.
behind it and stuff like that,
No,
which is
I mean, that I don't really care about that. Like, I'm like frustrated by the people like that are like, I want
Mhm.
Toby's life to suck or whatever, but that doesn't really
Right.
have anything to do with the conclusion that I came to, because like
Mm.
at the end of the day, like the bigger thing is like I don't find pleasure in other people's misery. And I think a
Right.
lot of
Yeah.
people do find pleasure in other people's misery, hence why
Mm.
they want Spider-Man to be miserable, because it's
Right.
like, man, if he's miserable and he has all this stuff going for him,
Yeah.
then my life's great, and I just think that that's a bad way to
Yeah.
elevate yourself
I
by
mean, I think
taking joy in
this
other
is
people having a crappy life.
yeah.
Like,
It kind of goes back to like the movies or whatever, being able to tell how things were written and that people like made decisions in it. And so, like I feel like Star Wars, the last trilogy was the epitome of that for me, of being able
mhm.
to tell like, oh yeah, people like sat in a boardroom and talked about this thing and workshopped
They
this
saw
thing.
the
And
hashtags
yeah,
and
exactly. And they did things according to that kind of stuff. And like
yeah.
that's how Pokemon Sword and Shield felt a little bit leading
Mhm.
up to it, especially like it feels very artificial. And
Mhm.
so as I was watching the movie, especially because I didn't know about all that other stuff, it didn't feel particularly artificial for him to end up in this scenario. It felt like,
Yeah.
oh, I guess that's just the way it's going. I mean, I guess I knew a little bit. It felt maybe artificial because I thought they were going to bring him into just like leave the MCU, just be in the Sony verse and then like whatever. But this was just a good way to accomplish that goal. But if it was a good way to accomplish the he's broke now kind of goal,
Mhm.
that's a lot less fun.
Yeah.
So
And to me, and it wasn't like in they did it in a good way. Like, it
yeah,
didn't
yeah, for sure.
feel like a poorly written thing to get to an end result that they wanted or whatever, right?
Hmm.
But the movie in a lot of ways felt like a wink and a nudge in both a
Hmm.
positive and a negative way towards fans. Because like the initial thing of like the like the comic run that like
Hmm.
inspired the plot, right? Where it's
Yeah,
like the whole thing of like Spider-Man,
with
like the
Mephisto and all
world
that.
yeah, exactly, and the Mephisto and all that stuff, and people hating that run. It felt like Marvel being like, LOL, we're gonna make you love this, like, lol. And at the same time, it also felt like them being like, all right, we get it, you want him to like have a miserable life. We're gonna
Hmm.
do it. And then they did that. And
Yeah.
like the other complaints of like his suit and it being like, oh, it's too much Tony Stark, blah blah. And like
Hmm.
even me, like before like Homecoming came out, I was mad that they were like, marketing wise,
Mhm.
was where I was mad, where they were using Robert Downey Jr. I'm not even going to say using Iron Man to like promote this movie, and I'm like, it's freaking Spider-Man. So like, Iron Man was a D-list hero. Like, Spider-Man doesn't need Iron Man to promote his movie, but I do think that Spider-Man as a 15-year-old kid needs Iron Man as the adult, in the
Uh-huh.
situation to help Sherpa him through his life as a
Yeah.
hero. So that part of it made sense to me, but
Mhm.
it's just like they were addressing complaints of a lot of different stuff in this movie, and that's fine or whatever. But I think
Yep.
the complaints, a lot of them anyway, are dumb.
Yeah. One of the things I'll say about it too is that like I enjoyed it. Like there were, as far as winks and nudges, there were so many like specific callbacks or
Mhm.
whatever, that kind of thing. And it was funny because it's stuff that like I was just criticizing Spider-Man 2 for being campy
Mhm.
in certain ways. And there were so many things in this movie that also were
It's
campy,
pretty campy, yeah.
but I was down with it for whatever reason,
And then,
because
I mean,
it's like,
there's like a lot of stuff. It's like campy in a different way, where it's like
yeah.
it's Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man trilogy or whatever is campy because it's like comic book fans, LOL,
Mhm.
and this is more of a like um internet fans, movie fans,
Yeah, right.
like writing fan, because like there was like a lot of like pretty on the nose, but like only if you're thinking of it in that way, sort of thing. Like when
Mhm.
Peter Peter 1 told Peter 3, he was like nice throw, and then he
Uh-huh.
said nice catch. Like that was a pretty like
Wait, I
you
don't
made.
remember that one.
That was when he threw him something. I don't remember what he threw.
Uh-huh.
What the Amazing Spider-Man told
Yeah.
Homecoming Spider-Man. I don't remember
Mhm.
what he threw him, but he threw him something. Maybe it was the pumpkin bomb. Oh, the cure. That's what it was. It was a cure for
Uh-huh.
Green Goblin. That was the thing of like Amazing Spider-Man. You were the last Spider-Man, and now I'm the new Spider-Man.
Oh,
And
yeah, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
he threw it to Holland.
Uh-huh.
That sort of thing. I was like, aha, that was clever.
Uh-huh.
Um,
I remember the one where it was when the girl was like announcing like Peter Parker's coming to school today and blah blah blah, and we're gonna keep the, and she goes, "Go get him, Tiger."
yeah, yep,
And we had just watched Spider-Man 2 and Go
yep.
Get Him, Tiger, which is super cheesy, but
Mm-hmm.
that was fun. And then yeah, like Alex said, the pointing Spider-Man's meme, the back
Yep,
thing. I
that.
don't remember the back thing. What's that?
When Toby Maguire was saying that he
Mm-hmm.
has a thing with his back, it's because he like injured his back on Seabiscuit or something.
Oh,
Um,
interesting. Okay. I missed that one completely. Yeah. I
yeah.
just thought that stuff was all pretty fun,
Mhm.
honestly. Like it's probably the kind of thing that like on the first or second watch is really fun. And then I'm sure like won't age particularly well, but
Mhm.
also maybe subtle enough that like if you don't know about it, you just don't notice it even.
Yeah, like I don't think I've seen it 2 times now, and it doesn't feel like in those movies, it almost feels like they pause for a reaction when they do a campy thing. It's like,
Right.
I did the thing.
Uh-huh.
And in this movie, it's like they just keep moving. Like, all right, we
Uh-huh.
made the reference, we're going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's fun.
there it is.
Is Multiverse of Madness next? We even have a release date for that.
Yes. Yes.
I
I
don't think
think.
we have May 6th. Okay.
Yes. I'm pretty sure that's
Nice.
the thing that's next. Unless a Disney Plus thing gets confirmed for an earlier date than that. But
Right.
as far as
Yeah.
like what we have dates for, I think Doctor Strange is next.
Uh-huh.
And apparently the like first cut of that is 3 hours long. So every Marvel movie for the rest of all time is going to be at least 2.5 hours long.
Yeah. That's least Morbius if you count that. That's true.
I don't
Yeah,
care
I
about that. I'm
wouldn't
not watching that.
personally, but
I am not watching. I like at most I'll watch like the post credit scene on YouTube. Like,
uh-huh. Yeah, I don't care about what's his face, Jared Leto. I don't know anything about Morbius. I don't really care about that universe. Like we watched the second Venom. We watched Venom Let There Be
I
Carnage,
didn't see
and
that.
we went to the drive-in to watch it, which is a
Oh
pretty
yeah, yeah,
good
I
setup.
remember you talking about that.
But I was waiting at the like I went and ordered us food because we just barely made it in time. So I went to the like concession stand, ordered food, and it took 45 minutes to get the food. And
my
there's no
God.
speakers in there for the movie, so I could see the screen from where I was because it was just outside concession stand and stuff like that. But I missed 45 minutes of dialogue, and so I came back. I was like, well, I guess there's a bad guy now. Like, and that's about all I knew. So yeah,
I saw parts of the first Venom. I saw the post-credit scene for Let There Be Carnage. And that's it. I don't have any interest in any of the Sony movies that are not Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only Sony thing that I care about at the moment.
Yeah. I didn't feel like Carnage was particularly worth it. It was just like, I mean, it's like a fine, just, action flick kind of thing is what it ended up being. But also, side note, because I Googled Multiverse of Madness. I love that Wong's actual last name for the actor, his name is Benedict Wong and his character's name is Wong. And I don't know, that's just fun that it's the same thing. And also how Doctor Strange's actor's name is Strange. Crazy.
What?
I don't know. I was just going somewhere with that. But I think with that being said, that'll do it for this here episode of Directly to You.
It's true. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the things. If you're on podcast services, there's ratings on Spotify now. So you should rate us on Spotify. Hey, if you listen on Spotify. Even if you don't listen on Spotify, you got a Spotify, go to Directly You, follow Directly You or subscribe or whatever it's called on there. Rate the podcast. I think you had to listen to an episode or something like that, but you could just mark all as played if you'd rather watch on YouTube and leave a rating.
We probably should mention that not at the end of a 3-hour podcast.
It's
in
true.
Retrospect.
It's true, but we'll do it next time. We
will.
Do our things. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye. And set it to download, like Alex said. Bye-bye.
Bye.